Hey, will you guys let me know if this ever airs?
On 107.5, The Game.
Morning program, and we're making the most of it. But I've got coffee. I've got a bottle of water. I've got Jen Jensen back. Patrick Perrette is next to me. And I've got you, the listener, for the next 3 hours. We get to hang out together and get ready for the weekend, or slowly get ready for the weekend. I'm a big believer now that I've just lumped Friday in with the weekend. So to me, this is almost like the official last day of the week. Is anybody else doing that with me? Or Jen, have you just had enough this week now? Patrick, it's getting to be your busy time of the year. You don't have a weekend. Yeah. Maybe it's just me, but yeah, Thursdays usually, especially during football season, when we would get a good Thursday night football game, when that used to happen, I always considered Thursday is slightly part of the weekend, or the lead in, and so now I've just gone full fledged on that, whereas Friday is a part. Hope you're having a great morning as you get up. And Adam, kind of foggy out there, a little hazy on the drive in, so if you're heading off to work or taking the kids to school, be safe out there. We'll get you through the next few hours here. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, busy program coming up. At about 7:45 this morning, Dr. Wendell Holmes of Prisma Health Orthopedic will join us. Some foot injuries around the Southeast, both in the Southeastern and the Atlantic Coast Conference, that pertain to South Carolina, one being Bo Nix, an ankle injury he sustained. We'll talk with Dr. Wendell Holmes about his injury this morning, and we'll catch up with Dr. Wendell Holmes about Justin Ross and the left foot injury that he has sustained, and maybe what that could do for him, not just in terms of the next 2 weeks, but recovery time and getting back, not just for bowl season, but also if he decides to declare for the NFL draft, which I think we all assume he'll do. So that's at 7:45 this morning. 8:20 this morning, we will again be joined by our weekly guest, Brian Edwards of Vegas Insider, where he is the senior handicapper, and at MajorWager.com. He will give his picks for the weekend. So we have got plenty going on there this morning with that. And a reminder, if there's something you have to miss, if you got to drop the kids off, or if they want to listen to Paw Patrol in the car, or the Paw Patrol CD or soundtrack or whatever, what was the one? My daughter, what was the ponies? My Little Pony. Your sister your sister, what?
I've heard of My Little Pony. I don't think my sister was ever into it.
Never got into My Little Pony yet.
She was like American Girls and things like that.
Okay. Jen, you're familiar with My Little Pony, right?
Yeah, I see you being a big fan of that.
Well, I mean, there was several ponies, and if your daughter watches it, you get into it. And we were all different ponies, and we would go outside and play My Little Pony. I mean, that's what, back in the day. Now she's 12, and she does it. She barely talks to me. We were in the car the other day, and she was completely glued to her phone, as kids do when they get older. So yeah, anything you miss, if you've got to take the kids to school, or you've got to be in a meeting this morning, you got something going on, and you miss one of these interviews, you can always go to the 1075thegame.com webpage, click on the podcast tab, and go back and hear any interviews, not just from this show, but from the halftime show, from Game Time as well. You can go hear all the interviews that we have each and every day. So that's one way to go back and listen to anything you miss. If you want to join us this morning, couple ways to do so. So I'm still trying to get the computer up and running. You can do so via the phone lines. You can text in, or you can call in 803-404-6100, Cool Care Heating and Air text line, or the Love Chevy phone lines. You can also join us via the live stream, Patrick, Buford Lending live stream, as I will hop back on here in a minute. The computer is finally getting back up and running. So we've got a busy morning ahead of us. We get really into South Carolina and Auburn this coming weekend, and anything from yesterday change opinions as we wrapped up the program. We had Brian Matthews on yesterday from auburnsports.com. That was in the 8 o'clock hour. Again, you can go back and hear that interview, but you kind of mentioned it yesterday. Interesting game this weekend with two teams that, while they've arrived at almost the same record, 6-4 and 5-5, you feel like two teams that are kind of on the same level right now in terms of their fan base not being particularly pleased with their coaches.
No, well, I think that's most teams in the SEC right now. I mean, you look at, there's a couple teams that are happy, and that would be Georgia and I guess Alabama, because they still hold their own fate in their hands. But outside of that, I mean, Ole Miss, I guess. But everyone else is kind of up and down. Like, you can go all around the league. LSU's all the way down. They're very upset, but Arkansas had a great start, and they're not feeling great right now. Tennessee fans are probably feeling pretty good, but they didn't have a great start either. And, yeah, it's just Auburn and South Carolina are kind of in the same place. You said a game off from each other's records, but the way Auburn's gotten there is a lot different. They've lost to 3 of the best teams in the country and Mississippi State, but they're also on a brutal skid right now with, as was mentioned yesterday by Brian, the biggest blown lead in program history. So, yeah, they're not happy, but they're a different type of not happy because their expectations are much higher than South Carolina's at the moment. So, yeah, I don't think anything really changed. I think his sentiment yesterday, Brian Matthews, was Auburn's not in a great place right now, but they should be in a good enough place that they'll still beat Carolina, and it won't be a big deal.
If you want to weigh in on that this morning, again, 803-404-6100, multiple ways to do that. Last night in women's basketball, South Carolina destroys Clemson 74-45 at Colonial Life Arena. 11th straight victory for the Gamecocks over the Tigers. South Carolina, of course, last night also raising the Final Four banner and giving out the rings for the SEC championship, the SEC tournament championship, I should say. So South Carolina's women's team gets the job done against Clemson tonight. The men will host Alabama Birmingham. Frank Martin's good buddy Andy Kennedy, former Mississippi coach, in town for with Alabama Birmingham to lead them tonight. UAB. So 7 o'clock tonight. Anything you want to weigh in on that? Eric Stevenson 2 for 25 so far this season. We'll see if he can get going tonight. James Reese has played fairly well. Keyshawn Bryant's still suspended tonight. He's got 2 more games of this current 5-game suspension that he's on, and then we'll be back after next week's Wofford game, Patrick. But basketball tonight. First, the women last night. No real surprise there. Destiny Henderson, 16 points, 6 assists. Zia Cook, 12, 13 points scored. And South Carolina's women's team absolutely rolls. We figured that would happen yesterday against 74-45, the final in that one is South Carolina, the number 1 ranked team in the country. But tonight the men play, and it'll be interesting to see them back in action. 1-1 in Asheville. You lose to Princeton, but you beat Western Kentucky. And this is a team, Patrick, 3 games in, still trying to gel and find their way, in my opinion, from what I've seen in the 3 games I've watched.
Yeah, I mean, they would probably be undefeated right now if they could just knock down the 3 at a mediocre rate, not even a good rate. It's just that has been their Achilles heel. It's been an issue for a couple of years now. And how many games can you really go with just awful shooting before you say, okay, looks like another year we're a bad shooting team? How many games can you go before you turn it around? I mean, Eric Stevenson can't go less than 10%. I mean, he's like I said, Frank Martin said he was possibly the greatest shooter he's ever coached, pure shooter, and he looks good hurling them up, but he's 7%. Is that right? 8%. 8% from the 3. So how many games can you do that before it's just like, okay, well, we were sold a bill of goods a little bit, and this is just he's fine, but he's not a great shooter like that. And South Carolina's not a great shooting team.
If he has 2 or 3 good shooting games,
then
and they win
we'll go all in.
because of that. I'm just at any point during the season, if he has 2 or 3 and if they beat like say a Kentucky because he gets hot that night and is 9 of 12.
I mean, one of these games, South Carolina's going to have to go 50% from 3.
You would think that the way they shoot the 3 ball, the way they attempt it, I'm with you that at one point that they're going to have a big game. So we'll see what happens. Again, if you want to weigh in on that tonight, 7 o'clock, Colonial Life Arena, South Carolina and UAB. Again, last night, the women's team, Dawn Staley, cruising past Clemson 74-45. So some college basketball there to discuss as well. Tonight, college football and NFL football. We'll get into a little bit the college game. I mentioned this just a few minutes ago about getting good college games on Thursday night. And I don't know if Louisville at Duke qualifies as a good college football game, Patrick, but there was a day in time where an ACC game like this was actually on the low end of the Thursday night spectrum. And I don't know if next year with the NFL going to, if I've read this correctly, and you're more up on this than I am, but if I read correctly, next year the NFL is going to Amazon Prime. So I guess you'll only be able to see the Thursday night games if you have, like I have Amazon Prime. I can get on there and watch the movies, and there's a couple
so you'll be able to have
shows. So I'm thinking you'll have to have the Amazon. It won't be on the NFL Network, or it won't be on NBC, or
But I would probably say that more people have Amazon Prime than cable at this point. I mean, maybe not. That might be an
Jenny, you in on that?
exaggeration,
Do you think
but,
that?
I mean, I can tell you, most of my friends don't have cable. Everybody's got Amazon Prime, though.
Yeah, I think that's totally an age thing or
Yeah.
kind of a generational thing. You know, my sisters are older. They don't have anything about Amazon Prime. But I think there seems to be more going on to that platform. So I think it's replacing cable. Yeah, I can see
Well,
it.
I understand with Netflix. I mean, I don't have.
Amazon Prime has better television shows than the cable network.
I mean, look, I'm with you.
Lot of
I
ways.
wonder though, as you see this, Notre Dame did something similar. I think it was Peacock. I think it was Peacock actually. It was not necessarily Notre Dame, but at the beginning of the year where they aired the first Notre Dame football game, the show they played, I think Toledo, or I can't remember who it was, the season opener was only on the Peacock network. And so it'll be kind of interesting. But yeah, the reason I say that is next year, Amazon Prime, that's how you'll watch the Thursday night game. The Thursday night game tonight on Fox and the NFL Network will be New England at Atlanta. Mac Jones looks to continue his run. Atlanta and Matt Ryan, well, we'll see what they do. But New England's been pretty good. But I only say that because
New
I
England's
wonder.
been great.
You what?
New England's been more than pretty
Well,
good.
they're not a Super Bowl. I don't think they're a
No,
Super
they're
Bowl
a Super Bowl
contender.
contender.
But they're
They're a Super Bowl contender. If you beat the Browns like you did last week and you're only getting better week by week, you're a Super Bowl contender.
like the Browns are
Who
doing
else is a Super Bowl contender in the AFC? besides
Well,
the
that's
Patriots?
I was going to say. I wonder. I mean, you got the Bills. I think you would say the Ravens. I know the Ravens lost to the Dolphins last week,
Yeah.
but you still say the Ravens, right? And then what is Derrick Henry's timetable? Is he expected
No
back?
idea.
at
He
the
might not be.
playoffs?
He might be done for the year.
Okay, and
Yeah.
the Chiefs are playing a little bit better, so I'm with you. You have 4 or 5 teams there, but I wonder with the NFL moving to Amazon Prime next year, if you'll see college football try and get back in on the Thursday night action, because it feels like they've kind of given away. Again, there was a time the Thursday night game was you wanted that. South Carolina would play several of those Thursday night games. Clemson played a couple. I think I went and saw Clemson play. Maybe Clemson fans can help me. I feel like it was maybe either an NC State game on a Thursday night, I believe. I think it was not Florida State, might have been NC State, but Thursday nights were pretty big college football nights. Louisville Duke tonight is one of the more premier matchups, and I know I say that and people giggle, but like because it's 2 big name programs, 2 ACC programs, two Power 5 conference teams playing each other. Thursday night games that have kind of in college fallen to the back of the pack, and we don't get some fun Thursday night matchups. And you don't remember the fun Thursday night matchups,
No.
do you?
Definitely not. I don't think NFL Thursday night games will rate worse next year on Amazon really at all. I mean, if they get good matchups, the problem that the NFL's had with Thursday night football, why Thursday night football ratings haven't been great, is because they've been mostly terrible matchups. So people don't want to watch the Jets and anyone play on Thursday night football.
Yeah, I think Jets and Colts was last
Yeah.
week, maybe, or
Yeah, nobody
2
wants
weeks
to watch
ago. I'm
that.
with you on that, Jets and Colts. But
But if you give good matchups and you put it on Amazon Prime, people are going to watch that game. There was an Amazon Prime game. What was it? Sometime in December last year, because I remember watching it over Christmas when I was back home, and it was the Bucks and the Lions, I think, and the Bucks just steamrolled the Lions. But I remember watching it on Amazon Prime, and it was completely fine.
I don't. I think it'll be just interesting. It'll be I feel like, and maybe people will stop me on this. I feel like it'll be our first real trip down a streaming platform's attempt to sell you games. I know we've gotten a couple. ESPN certainly has gotten into it to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch every college football game, you're watching it on the ESPN app.
and I use YouTube TV, so which is a streaming service. So it's a different style, different way of doing it than using DirecTV. But tonight, again, the Thursday night action, Louisville Duke in the college portion of Thursday night football. The Patriots traveling to the 4 and 5 Falcons tonight for your NFL game. So again, we've got some NFL, some college, a little bit of college basketball tonight with South Carolina and UAB. And again, this coming weekend, a pretty good slate. We'll get into that weekend slate and what it looks like. South Carolina and Auburn, 7 o'clock on Saturday night. Clemson and Wake Forest on Saturday at 12:30. Patrick, we'll get into a little bit of that Clemson-Wake Forest game because it's interesting. That's a big one, both for Clemson and Wake Forest, not just from Wake Forest clinching their division in the ACC, but also being at Memorial Stadium, an opportunity for the Tigers to win that one, to get to their 8th win of the year. South Carolina would give them the opportunity for win number 9 and maybe a bowl game to get to 10, and you got a somewhat good slate of games on Saturday. We'll get into that as we continue on. Again, 7:45 this morning, Dr. Wendell Holmes with Prisma Health Orthopedic, and at 8:20, Brian Edwards with Vegas Insider and MajorWager.com. Along the way, if you want to join us, 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in this morning, or you can join us via the Buford Lending live stream. Jim, Trey, Anthony, Robin, Jason, all in this morning. RL, Dakar, DC, welcome in. Welcome in. You can see what it looks like when you have to get up and do a 6 a.m. radio show. The hat is backwards for me because it's 6:20 now. Patrick's got the, what is that, a Marist hat?
SUNY Maritime.
SUNY Maritime. You can see his hat. Jen is in there working diligently. You can see all the things that go on behind the scenes if you join us on the Buford Lending live stream. Again, you want to weigh in this morning, 803-404-6100. Raj weighs in on the Cool Care Heating and Air Takes line. Patrick, have you gotten into The Boys on Amazon?
Yeah, The Boys is great. I've seen every episode.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a big fan. So, yeah. All right, there you
It's
go.
their best show, probably.
All right, so a lot going on this morning. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
College football playoffs are here.
Sometime. Crew is up against it. The brakes are beating the boys. Tell them to get out there and give it all they
You and
got.
Michaela, it's probably 80%.
College football playoffs are here on 107.5 The Game.
Oh, proven quality sleep. It is indeed life-changing. Trust me, it is indeed life-changing sleep. Right now, a lot going on. You're probably getting ready. A week from today, ladies and gentlemen, a week from today, it will be Thanksgiving. That probably means family members are coming into town. You're having to figure out the menu for the family. Maybe you're having to figure out what you're cooking or taking to another family member's house. It can be stressful. It can be stressful. And without a great night of sleep, you're going to be cranky. And then the family's not going to like you, and then they're not going to invite you to any more Thanksgivings. And I know some of you think that's a good thing. It's not. You want to be involved in all the family Thanksgivings. You actually do love those family members. You want to see them. So make sure you get a good night of sleep and don't be cranky and be that family member. Make the switch to Sleep Number today. I put my Sleep Number setting on 45, and I am ready for turkey frying, for stuffing, for whatever else. Cranberry sauce, all the fun stuff that comes with Thanksgiving each and every year. You need to do the same. Make the switch to Sleep Number today. It's time for Sleep Number's Black Friday specials. Save 50% on the new Sleep Number 360 Limited Edition Smart Bed Plus special financing, subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details. Special financing for a limited time, only at a Sleep Number store, and there's two to choose from. One in Irmo on Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings. The other in Columbia, Two Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. Again, it is the Black Friday specials where you can save 50% on the new Sleep Number 360 Limited Edition Smart Bed. And there's the potential for special financing, but it's for a limited time. So make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night of sleep is truly like.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com. Airbase Road at Cross Hill Road, there is a car versus deer incident. Aside from that, things moving along fairly well for your Thursday morning. And it's going to be warm and breezy today. 79 for the high, overnight low of 46. Much cooler tomorrow, only a high of 61. Right now it's fair and 51, 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by JCPenney. It's Black Friday now. Shop thousands of deals across the store. It's Black Friday now at JCPenney. Starting Friday, shop thousands of Black Friday deals across the store. While they last, get Yes Please diamonds at a stunning price. Plus cookware at savings you'll savor. These deals are yours for the gifting.
Breathe easier in your home with Zerorez Air Duct Cleaning. Right now, when you mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, you can get $30 off your next air duct cleaning, plus 15% off filters and purifiers. Schedule online, ZerorezColumbia.com.
During the Stone Age, early man inhabited caves. Because building a 3-story, 5-bedroom McMansion would have kept him from watching football, hunting, and beer with the boys. Today, McMansions are built for us. Nature's little critters, however, well, no one's building for them, which only makes the cracks in your foundation all the more appealing.
Do you have issues with your foundation and need expert advice? Contact the experts at Canty Foundation Specialists by visiting CantyCanFixIt.com.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages and message and data rates may apply.
Come on, one more rep. You got this. 10. There it is. Nice work, man. You're a beast.
Thanks, man. I feel better than I have in years. And I got to tell you, taking Nugenix makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas. The big hurt, right?
Oh, yeah, this is a legit product. The key ingredient is Testofen, which helps boost free testosterone levels and increase lean muscle mass.
Well, it's clearly working for you. Hey, are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, Nugenix is a great way to increase lean muscle and feel stronger with more energy and endurance.
Man, I need to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
No problem. You just got to send them a text. Text BREAK to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Nugenix samples are not available in stores, so text BREAK to 42424 right now. Text BREAK to 42424. That's BREAK to 42424.
Winter is just around the corner. Now is the time to get that heating unit of yours inspected. Don't wake up one morning to your heating unit not working and it's cold in your house. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. Get them out there now for a $59 tune-up and let them make sure everything's working fine. 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
You haven't tasted real Carolina barbecue until you've experienced Little Pigs Barbecue. Little Pigs Barbecue. Full service dine-in, buffet, eat-in, or...
Yeah, he can.
Well, now I got to cut my mic back on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now you should be able to hear it. We'll get it fixed.
It's fixed.
Well, then you missed a great. You missed me talking all about my visit to Dunkin' Donuts.
And then we started talking about this movie, National Champions. Yeah, so this one guy's from the Hunger Games, Timothy Olyphant's big, J.K. Simmons is huge, Tim Blake Nelson, Jeffrey Donovan, they've both been in shows. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, you missed a good discussion about the barista at Dunkin' Donuts and how I'm very impressed with her.
Reducing the size of the turbinates. So,
Champ Kind from Anchorman is in it.
Oh, and yeah, and then Patrick's talking about this movie, National Champions. It's coming out December 11th.
That I just know is going to be terrible. But I literally just discovered it during that segment, and I watched the trailer on mute to get the gist of it.
Sorry, that's what you've missed so far. So you actually have missed good discussion. The barista at Dunkin' Donuts. Now there's an echo.
It's probably because Jen's mic was on. I don't know. Maybe it's loud at the studio.
Jen's mic is on.
There shouldn't be an echo now.
How about now? An echo now?
Also, we're getting delayed we're getting delayed feedback on the live stream because I know there was an echo as soon as you turned your camera on. When we started the segment, there was no echo. Then you turned your computer on, there was echo. And then I muted you, and then there wasn't. But
we don't know what we're doing.
There should not be an echo right now.
We're working on it.
I don't think there's an echo.
We're working on it. Kind of. We're kind of working.
We're not working on it.
Yeah, it's a good point. We're not.
I know what the issues are. I know what causes an echo, and none of those things are happening right now. So.
Okay. So there's no echo.
Yeah. I mean, we do have problems with like the overhead speakers in our studio kind of get into the stream, but you know.
The lighting in here is brutally bad. That would have freaked me out if I'd have raised this thing and a guy would just be standing right here. That would be...
That has happened.
That has happened.
All right. We're back.
Game.
Go to 1075thegame.com, not just to listen to the podcast, but to maybe do some of your Christmas shopping. right now. That actually ends today at 4 o'clock. The Sweet Bids auction is going on 1075thegame.com. Jen, you missed a good slip of the tongue on Tuesday as I was trying to describe a sectional ottoman and sitting chair from Daniel's Fine Furniture that's valued at $1,600. The word sectional came out incorrectly. And I think the bids on that chair instantly went up. I think people got very excited, but you can go do that right now. Go to 1075thegame.com where you can bid on several different items and see if you can win. Save yourself some money. There's a $1,500 gift certificate for your gutters from the Gutterman, $500 worth of Columbia Fireflies swag, including a 7-game season ticket plan. Also, a $500 gift certificate for a birthday party at Altitude Trampoline Park in Columbia. So I think that would be good for adults. I know it would be great for kids. Adults, you could suffer an injury, and then you're going to probably need a where is my one for Casey? Here we go. So you can get the $500 gift certificate, Patrick, for a birthday party at Altitude Trampoline Park in Columbia. Then you're probably going to need to bid on the chiropractic package, including the initial consult and 7 treatments from KC Chiropractic Center. See how that works? You bid on one, you probably should bid on the other one there, because if you go to the trampoline park as an adult at 39 years of age, you're probably going to want that chiropractic package.
You can ride the bicycle from Dialed Bicycles Repair and Service LLC to the trampoline park. You can print off your pass with a Gamecock wrapped HP LaserJet printer.
So many items. Go to 1075thegame.com to bid. The auction ends at 4 o'clock today. So, you kind of want to start getting those bids in. But again, the Sweet Bids auction going on right now at 1075thegame.com. You can go there. Maybe you can do a little early Christmas shopping.
If you want to go to Alaska and Vancouver for 12 days, hope you have $13,000.
They do have some other trips there. Yeah. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning as we get you up and rolling. 6:32 on a Thursday morning. Let's get into a little bit of the games real quick. It's not the best week in college football. It is a weekend in college football, but it's not the best. Of course, this weekend has typically been Cupcake Saturday for the SEC. It kind of will continue to stay that way. Georgia hosting Charleston Southern. That one's not going to really do it for anybody. Prairie View A&M going to Texas A&M. Tennessee State at Mississippi State are just a few of the games in the noon window, Patrick. None of those will grab anybody's attention in the SEC. The 2 games that we'll have, well, there's 3 really, but two of them that we'll be interested in. I don't know if anybody will still be invested in Iowa State at Oklahoma. I haven't looked at the spread on that one, and I only bring up Iowa State, Oklahoma because of the rumors, which seemed to pick up some steam yesterday with Lincoln Riley to LSU. Do you think that one's going to happen where he leaves? I tend to think he stays, but yesterday seemed to be a big day for Lincoln Riley to LSU rumors.
I told you during the show yesterday that my cousin, who's a big LSU fan, always texts me stuff and just is always on the message boards and says that Bob Woodward has been authorized to pay whatever it costs to get Lincoln Riley to Baton Rouge, $12 to $15 million, whatever it takes. I did see Brett McMurphy say that he's hearing it's not going to happen. So I don't know. Maybe it's a lot of noise. I think it would be a good move for everyone. Obviously, he would be a home run hire, probably the best hire you can make in college football right now. And I think it would be better suited for him at LSU. But I would just, leaving a school like Oklahoma that plays for the college football playoff most years just seems like a leap. But I think it would be a smart move for everyone involved.
I would like it just from the chaos that it would bring, because now then you open up the Oklahoma job, and as we talked about yesterday on the Dennis Dodd article, there's really not a lot of high profile coaches out there that I think are looking at. James Franklin looks like seems like a guy who's ready to move on from Penn State, but at 6-4. And last year wasn't a good year, but it was a COVID year for Penn State. So I don't know how much you let that play into the situation. But I don't know if James Franklin is still the hot commodity that he once was. I don't know. You're not a big Sean Clifford fan. Penn State's fallen out of that race. Remember, they were when they went and lost to Iowa. I think they were number 4 is what we had them at. I think Iowa was 3, or maybe flip-flop that. Penn State was 3 and Iowa was 4, whatever it was. But if Oklahoma opens, you got another massive job, and I'm not sure where they would turn. That's kind of where we're at with the college football carousel.
Alex Greenwich, Josh Heupel, those are being rumored that Greenwich would just take over, or Josh Heupel would potentially want to come back home to Norman and take over Oklahoma.
That would be right now Tennessee's luck.
That's what the people are saying.
That would be Tennessee's luck if it does look like Josh Heupel might have something going in Tennessee, and that would be the way things break out for Tennessee right now. But there's your noon games. Oklahoma, again, they are 13th in the most recent college football playoff poll. The big game of the afternoon, number 7, or the noon window, I should say, the big game. Number 7, Michigan State at number 4, Ohio State. And again, you got a top 7 matchup here, but Vegas doesn't expect this one to be close. They've got Ohio State as a 19-point favorite in this one, Patrick. And a lot of people think if Ohio State wins, they may actually jump Oregon and move into the top 3 in the college football playoff.
Well, I guess we can get to that, but this is kind of a big test for 3 and 4. And Cincinnati's going to be, what time? I don't even know what time they play. Probably noon. Nope, they play at 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati fans will be watching very closely to that game. And then at night, they'll be watching very closely the Oregon game, because Oregon's got their last huge test kind of the year. I don't even know if it's considered a huge test. Utah's 7-3, but they're going.
Utah's favored.
Yeah, they're favored by 3, and they're going to Salt Lake City. That game's in Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
So if Oregon can get through that, they'll potentially end up having to play Utah again in the Pac-12 championship. So this would be the opportunity for Oregon to lose, and then Cincinnati can find themselves back in the top 4. So, yeah, I'm sure they'll be watching that very closely. But it is interesting looking at the Big Ten and how you look at 3 teams all in the top 7, all with 1 loss, all 9-1, yet when they match up, Ohio State is almost a 3-touchdown favorite. Like, that's how much Vegas thinks that Ohio State is far and away the best in the Big Ten. And right now, it's hard to disagree with that. Michigan State really has not looked great the last 2 weeks, and I think they got off to a hot start. I think Mel Tucker is a good coach, but I mean, what if they lose this one and then maybe drop one more, and immediately after signing a 10-year, $95 million contract for Mel Tucker there?
Did they get it finalized yesterday?
I don't know if it was finalized.
It wasn't finalized. We need to get into that too, because there is another thing with college football now where money is being thrown around left and right. Slightly, I shouldn't say slightly, but to guys who have had one good year, South Carolina fans are all too familiar with
one good half of a year.
Yeah, South Carolina fans are all too familiar with what happened.
Arguably
with
one
Will
good
Muschamp.
game. I mean, who's Michigan State beaten besides Michigan? I'll go back and look, but
they're going to give
they've
credit.
beaten Northwestern, Youngstown State, Miami, Nebraska, Western Kentucky, Rutgers, Indiana, and Michigan, and they lost to Purdue and beat Maryland. I mean, what? $95 million for that? I think he's a good football coach, but it's like you won one big game and then gave away a 10-year contract because you're scared of LSU.
Yeah, well, they are. They don't want to go back. Look, the job market right now is not the searching for a college football coach is not where a lot of people want to be right now.
They're making people earn their paychecks. It's just not a thing anymore.
Yeah, but a lot of people right now, they don't want to go into that market, and also the Big Ten is going to be much like the SEC. They know there's a lot of money about to come from television deals. The SEC, you can see, this is why you mentioned now Oklahoma will get the same money in years to come.
Yeah.
But this is why you see LSU saying, hey, we can throw, $10 million plus at a Lincoln Riley, because we know the new television deal coming is going to be very financially, it's going to be very lucrative. It is going to be an advantage for the SEC. I always think it'll be more of an advantage in your in college basketball, in college baseball, where teams are not you're going to see a lot of the big name schools that aren't in the SEC still throwing money. Clemson is not going to fall behind in the college football race because of money. Now, where they could fall behind is maybe college basketball. They can't pay Brad Brunell as much, or maybe if they wanted to make a change and they wanted to go get a big time coach. Maybe baseball the same if they get rid of Monty Lee and they want to go hire someone. The SEC schools are going to have that extra money where they can throw at the Olympic coaches or at kind of your secondary coaches that are not football. But with all that being said, this is the Big Ten. This is their pockets are going to be lined with money because of a new television package, and that's going to help them say, hey, $95 million, an extension, no problem. New contract, we'll cover it so that we don't have to go into the job market. But you're right.
1 year at Colorado and a year and a half at Michigan State, and that's what you get. And Michigan State was bad last year. They get one big transfer who looked like he was about to win the Heisman Trophy. Now he's probably not. I have no idea who's going to win the Heisman at this point. But and now you could potentially get. I just always think that's funny. Like, it always reminds me things like that. If Michigan State, if that deal gets finalized and then they go into Columbus and lose by like 35 points, what are Michigan State fans going to be thinking? It always reminds me of do you remember the Monday Night Massacre, the Eagles Washington Redskins game? They were the Redskins. I'm gonna say.
I don't.
Where it was like 56-10, I think, something along those lines, where Michael Vick came in and scored like 7 touchdowns. No recollection of that.
No,
it's a very famous game in NFL lore.
When was it?
It was 10 years ago or something.
Okay,
but
definitely don't remember.
It was that day, 2 hours before the game, Donovan McNabb signed a massive extension for the Redskins, and then that night was absolutely embarrassed and was horrible from then on. I'm just imagining 10-year, $95 million, one of the highest paid coaches in the country, get beaten down against Ohio State, and then the rest of the season is Penn State next week. So you get beaten down by Ohio State, you lose to Penn State, all of a sudden you lose 3 of your last 5 games, and it just goes downhill. Kenneth Walker's in the NFL. You're not a very good team next year, and you can be basically 8 games from the signing of the contract, and you say, wow, we made a mistake.
Well,
and we have 9.5 years left of this.
Jeremy Pruitt for Tennessee signed a contract extension either the Thursday or the Friday before the South Carolina game.
Yeah, but Michigan State's not going to pay that buyout like Tennessee would.
Who knows?
They're going to pay a $90 million buyout.
At this point in time, anything is possible. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. Some of you weighing in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Let's see. Charles points out Josh Heupel. This is true. I remember this. Heupel was fired by Bob Stoops as offensive coordinator, even though he's an alum. They aren't hiring him now. I don't know, Charles. I look, he's gone and proven himself, I guess, at UCF and now at Tennessee. What he's done this year, very interesting. Going back here, Richard weighs in. Don't be shocked if Dave Aranda gets a lot of offers from Baylor. Yeah, his name
I wouldn't be surprised.
has risen very, very quickly. Richard goes on to say former LSU defensive coordinator, done an amazing job at Baylor with less talent on offense. Gene weighing in this morning on what we were just discussing with Ohio State. He says Ohio State should not jump Oregon if they lost head-to-head if Oregon keeps winning. By the way, we didn't get into this yesterday because we didn't talk much about the college football playoff rankings, but did you hear what the commissioner, I forget his name, or the head of the committee there had to say regarding Michigan and Michigan State and why they still have Michigan ahead of Michigan State? And this is to Gene's point.
I know 2 weeks ago that he said that they just thought that Michigan was the better team and it will be proven. What did he say now?
Let me get you the exact quote here from the head of the college football playoff committee. It was very interesting because he basically says if you look at all the analytics, and I'm right now but if you look at all the analytics, Michigan's the better football team. They just lost the game that they played. But if you look at it statistically speaking, is basically how he phrased this.
Is it true? It might very well be true.
Yeah, but does it matter if statistically speaking, Michigan is better than Michigan State if they lost? I mean, it does.
I mean, I don't think it matters in terms of Michigan State won the game and they have the same record, so they should be ranked higher. But I mean, I do actually think Michigan is a better football team. If they played again on a neutral site or in Ann Arbor, Michigan would win the game.
This is the exact quote. This is Gary Barta, the head of the committee, who speaks when they put out the rankings, and then he goes on ESPN. He said, set aside watching the games, though that's certainly a part of it. So it's good to know that the college football committee does watch the games, but he says set aside watching the games, though that's certainly part of it. But statistically, in just about every category, offensively and defensively, Michigan comes out on top over Michigan State.
I don't disagree with his process. I just disagree with the final result. I think Michigan State should be ranked higher, and I think it'll all get handled. But I don't disagree with everything else that he's saying. It sounds ridiculous to say put aside the actual game that you watched, but it is kind of true.
To go back, Gene saying, and Gene, I guess my only point is, and thank you for joining in this morning, when you say Ohio State should not jump Oregon since they lost head-to-head, it's not that I disagree with you. I don't think Patrick disagrees with you. It's that this playoff committee, you just never know exactly what they're going to do. 803-404-6100, how you can join us this morning. If you want to weigh in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines, I see several of you weighing in. We will get to some of you there. We'll talk a little bit about the South Carolina-Auburn game, certainly. B from Columbia weighing in with asking about Marcus Satterfield and if a move will actually be made. We don't know. I mean, really don't know. It's something that we'll know more in 2 weeks after the Clemson game, but it's really all just speculation right now in terms of what Shane Beamer may or may not do, and who knows? 2 bad games could make it a very easy decision. 2 good games could make it an easier decision in terms of not going on. Who knows? Who knows what exactly Shane Beamer will do?
That's worth getting into.
Yeah, it's a lot of hypotheticals at this point.
What could actually, if you're a South Carolina fan, which I assume 95% of you are South Carolina fans, in the camp of Satterfield's got to go. That's what you're thinking because you've watched this offense all year. Is there absolutely anything that could happen in the next 2 weeks? You beat Auburn 40-10. You beat Clemson 56-7. Like anything, as crazy as it might be, would actually satisfy you enough to say, let's run it back? Or is the book completely written? You're out. It's over.
I think most people have started to kind of move on, but we'll continue to talk about that. We'll get into South Carolina and Auburn a little bit here this morning. Again, if you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning with your thoughts, whether it's on South Carolina and Auburn, whether it's your thoughts on the college football playoff, is certainly talking about those early games. We'll get into more of the schedule that will be on Saturday. Again, we were just talking about the early games, Michigan State at Ohio State. We didn't really get into the Wake Forest Clemson game, Iowa State at Oklahoma. And again, interesting coaching news in 2 of those things. You got Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma and what may happen with him. And you've also got Mel Tucker and the potential contract extension and raise for him. So we'll continue talking about that. Again, if you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Early game coming up on 107.5 The Game.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com. Old Charleston Road at Pond Branch Road, an accident there. Also, Airbase Road at Cross Hill Road. There's a car versus deer incident to keep an eye out for. Weather-wise, we're looking for a nice day today, kind of unseasonal almost. Warm and breezy, 79 for the high. And then tomorrow, cool, keeping those breezy conditions at 61 for the high. Right now, 51 at 107.5 The Game.
Ian Eagle here from Westwood One with a preview of Thursday Night Football. We'll open Week 11 in Atlanta with the Falcons hosting the 6-4 New England Patriots. After a slow start to the season, the Pats are now on a 4-game winning streak and coming off a big victory over the Browns. Up next, a rematch of Super Bowl 51 as they face Matt Ryan and the 4-5 Falcons. Ryan says moving past last week's blowout loss to the Cowboys is just part of the job.
Obviously, it was an ugly game, but it's just one. And you will find out about guys, the way we come in, the way we get prepared, the way we get ready to go on a short week, and hopefully the way we perform. Hopefully we'll find out a lot of good things about guys.
Tony Baselli joins me in the booth for the call of the Patriots at the Falcons on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on 107.5 The Game.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, zero heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. Zero heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
From city streets to back roads, from road warrior to carpooler, there are some things you can always count on, like the reliability, durability, and power of DieHard, America's most trusted auto battery. No matter where your journey takes you, count on DieHard to get you started on the road ahead. Available at your local Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest stores.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Hey parents, good news! Kids ages 5 to 11 are eligible for a COVID vaccine. Your future CEOs, artists, innovators, and more are eligible for a vaccine that can help protect their future. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Gathering family and friends around a beautiful fire is a holiday tradition. Let Palmetto Propane upgrade your fireplace, whether propane or natural gas, with our premium gas logs and complete installation and service. Our Palmetto Propane hearth and patio home stores are open so you can see the area's finest gas logs, fire features, and grills. Visit us at palmettopropane.com to connect with us online and to find a location near you.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
We have to do that every.
Is that the easiest way to do it? Or is that, I feel like we were doing something differently.
Well, I do it that way because
Okay.
if we get calls, it doesn't make sure Jen doesn't have to do. It makes Jen have to do less.
I got you.
And I don't want her to not have the caller in program 3, and then we don't hear the caller.
Got it. There we go. Now you can hear us. Yeah,
So
not
everything
no
I
on
said-
14,000.
No, but how sick does that trip look, Travis? And we just said that I will go on the trip if you guys want to all chip in, buy the trip, and then send the information. I'll share pictures of Alaska and Vancouver and Sitka, wherever that is. And I'll let you all know how it is.
Did I talk to Josh yesterday? Oh, I did.
Also, the Villa Casa Casuarina, the former Versace mansion. Pretty crazy. In Miami Beach. Ooh, I would do that. 4 days. Exotic car rental for 4 days. How'd they get these? I guess I would accept the Jamaican vacation at the Zoetree Montego Bay, but I'm not really a tropical guy. Are these all local places? Yeah, it is. Yep. Two 5 stars. Where's Clarendon, East Clarendon? Where's that?
Huh?
Where's the South Carolina's got 2 5-star commits from South Carolina. The
East
other
Clarendon is Ashland. Is it Ashland Watkins just committed?
well, she committed yesterday.
Cardinal Newman.
But where's the other East Clarendon? Where is that?
I mean, I'm not real sure.
That's the high school she went to, right? The other girl?
What's the girl's name?
Can't remember.
Look on Hoop Girls.
I don't know South Carolina geography like that. Yeah. Tasia Cooper. Yeah, East Clarendon. I don't know where that is.
All right, I'll read zero res right here. I'm going to stutter for a minute because I got to find the script. It is that time of the year. You heard me mention it earlier. A week away. Just 1 week away. You'll be waking up this time next week. You're going to have to get in the kitchen. You're going to have to start cooking. The family's probably going to show up to your house very early because it will be Thanksgiving next week. That means your house better be clean. Your rugs, your tile, your carpet. You need to call Zero Res today and get them out to the house and go ahead and get that house looking spiffy, spotty, ready to host your aunts, your uncles, your grandmothers, your grandfathers, whoever else is coming here. I have zero clue who's coming to your house. I know at my house there will be a whole bunch of family members, and Zero Res will make sure that my house looks beautiful with their ZR water technology, patented technology that uses high pH electrolyzed water, not harsh chemicals. No sticky, soapy residue will be left behind. The technology is incredible and scientifically proven to get my carpet, rugs, and tile insanely clean. Give Zero Res a call today, 803-262-4020. Right now, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119 when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. You hear that music in the background. You know it is a special, special Thursday when you can get that music, and you can get your appointment booked with Zero Res, 803-262-4020. ZeroResColumbia.com. You can also book online. Again, right now, 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119 when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. 803-262-4020, how you can book. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. Whew.
Well done.
Half a cup of coffee, and I am good to go. That's exciting. We get to talk more college football, and we'll do that in hour number 2 up next. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game. Pro 570.
How much does a big green egg cost? No, not even for me. I know my parents, since they moved, my dad is going to have more time to do things like learn how to smoke. Me? I'm looking through the sweet bids. And it's got a green egg. Yeah. Yeah, they can hear me. Somebody will answer me. They always do. Well, they also have a Traeger. How much is a Traeger? I'm looking at the Traeger 575 Wi-Fi. Also, I don't really know how this works. I don't have. They can hear me. I don't have a big enough car to transport one of those things. Yeah, how much is the mini one? That's what they're selling. The mini green egg. I guess I can look it up. Now I'm reading about the groomsman barbershop package. There's everything. They got everything. Do you know what Macallan and Glenlivet are, Bill? Yeah. Are they good drink? Good bourbons? Scotch? Well, I'm just reading. Look at this barbershop thing. It says you get $750 package for a whole group for cuts, shaves, and bottles of Macallan or Glenlivet. Glenlivet in West Columbia. Is that the actual place? Let's see. Looks like it. That place looks sick. Oh, this is in like Brooklyn. This is right across the river. Yeah, this is like right by where this is right by the Savage Brewery. Yeah. Wow, that place looks awesome. Cool. I wish I was going to be a groomsman coming up soon. I'll just hook everybody up. I'm not going to be. I do have to go to 5 weddings next year, though. 5 weddings next year? Yeah, at minimum. Maybe 6. There might be a 6th. Your wedding? No, not mine. She's the reason I'm going to most of them. Interesting, RL. I don't necessarily completely disagree, but it's never the best thing to just quit on people. But I do think you're in the minority there. It sounded expensive. I still don't know how to say it. Is it Glenlivet? Glenlivet? Yep, definitely at that age. 26, almost 26. Most of the people that are getting married are older than me too. I have confirmed that the Potato Bowl is off the menu at Bojangles, which is very unfortunate.
So like I said, these breaks are pretty long, so keep that in mind.
$7:03 on a Thursday morning. It is Thursday, right? Like, it feels like this week is dragging. Maybe it's because of the excitement for Thanksgiving next week. It feels like this week is dragging by. You're Thanksgiving? Are you a Thanksgiving guy, or are you more of a Christmas guy?
Who's not a Thanksgiving person?
Is there such thing as not
There
a
aren't
Thanksgiving
people.
person?
There are no people that don't like
Well,
Thanksgiving.
Will Muschamp. Will Muschamp's not a Thanksgiving guy.
Well, he
It was a
enjoys
meal
the
to
meal.
him.
No, he enjoys the meal. Yeah. Everybody likes Thanksgiving.
But you can always do a Thanksgiving meal. You can do a Thanksgiving meal in June if you really feel like it. It's not particularly comfortable, and it's not.
Yeah.
Is it-
Thanksgiving is objectively awesome. Everyone likes Thanksgiving. I refuse to believe there's anyone that doesn't like it.
Is there anyone 803-404-6100? You can hit us up on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Just yes or no. Is there anyone who doesn't
No,
like
not yes
Thanksgiving?
or no. If you don't like Thanksgiving,
Well, no. I'm just asking. Do people? Because if you don't like,
if
it,
you don't
yet
like Thanksgiving,
give a
you
reason.
need to give a reason
Give a
because
reason.
it's probably wrong.
Well, no,
You don't have to like turkey even. Thanksgiving has so many different sides and everything. You can make a great meal out of anything.
No, I meant, well, I feel like our listeners are going to like Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that, do you know people who don't like Thanksgiving?
Yeah. Tell
Do you-
me what they do not like about Thanksgiving, because there's
Week
yeah,
from today.
it's objectively great.
A week from
agree.
today. Just weigh in. 803. Do you know anybody who doesn't like Thanksgiving? You're right. It is the parade. I think as I get older, the parade grows. Is it the Macy's Day Parade? Is that
Yeah.
or is that
That's the one we always have on. My big thing for a long time was I looked for like the Kermit the Frog balloon. That was my big big Muppets fan here.
That one always does bother me though, because 100% of people that do the live performances lip sync, and it's so obvious.
Yeah.
That really bothers me when people are
Yeah.
on national stage and they're clearly lip syncing.
So the Macy's Day is there's the Macy's Day, and is there also a Christmas Macy's Day? Is
don't think
Macy's
so.
just the official home of parades?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that in which
Macy's is just the Christmas capital though. Like isn't it that's like the first showing of the Rockettes is Thanksgiving parade,
it's the kickoff.
Yeah.
Like Santa comes at the end of it, so it's like kicking off the Christmas holiday and everything. But but I did see something the other day that the first, I think it was the first Macy's parade actually didn't have the balloons, but it had zoo animals.
Whoa, I like that. That'd be
I
cool.
know. That
I'd
would
be
be
all
kinda
aboard.
fun.
I'd be all.
What do you mean had zoo animals?
Like that was
Like
they
that was
wheeled
part
the
of the
cages
parade.
through?
That's what I was gonna
something
say.
like
Were
that,
they
yeah.
leading the elephants
Or walked-
or leading the tigers
to-
down
I
the
need to read
street, or were
more.
they in a cage?
Ralphie used to be there.
Because it feels like if you had a lion on a leash or a tiger,
Their potential
a child
yeah.
or two went missing during the parade,
Mhm.
and that's the end of the zoo animals at the
Right.
during the
I
parade.
have to read a little more on that because I thought it was kind of interesting.
803-404-6100. We've been invited now to a Friendsgiving with Clemson Sean this weekend. The co-pilot weighs in. He says his daughter does not like Thanksgiving because she eats too much. I think that sounds like she does like Thanksgiving. Anonymous texter weighs in and says Thanksgiving is amazing. And then we got another anonymous. Let's see, Adam. I don't like Thanksgiving because I have to see my mom and her family, my dad and his family, my girlfriend's family, and then I have to get my kids to their moms so they can go spend time with their mom's family. Yeah, I will say
I can
this.
understand that part of it.
That is a part, Adam, and I finally just like put my foot down a long time ago with my ex-wife and everything. It was like, look, I will do all the cooking. Just tell people to come here because of the kid. Like if they want to see the kids, we're here. Here's where we are at. I will do whatever you.
Oh, yeah.
If you need me to cook from
So you don't
6
have to go
a.m.
house
to
to
7, I
house.
will do it. That can be my punishment for everybody coming here, but I will. A lot of the other family members didn't like that. Nobody wants to leave their house on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the one day you're willing to deal with the mess. Just you go down to the local dollar store and you get the plates and you get whatever it is you need that you can just throw away. You get the big trash can, the big trash bags, you get the industrial trash bags that like don't tear and you just put those outside and you're just like have at it. And that's your way of cleaning up. You get the fancy plastic forks.
Oh wow. You are
The fancy
wild man.
knives, the fancy plastic knives. Yeah.
Hmm.
There you go.
Wow. You know how to
the
set a proper
leftovers are-
table?
Set a proper table?
Mhm.
You talking about like if I was actually doing a nice dinner where I'd put the nice silverware out and
Well,
put what
or
is it, the
just-
fork
just-
on the left, I believe.
Yeah, because you work your way
And
in.
you do the knife has got to be facing a certain way,
Correct.
like the inside of the knife or the cutting edge of the knife has to
Yeah. And my mother-in-law is one just like everyday dinner, like she'll just set the silverware down, makes me crazy. So I go back behind her and then I set it the way it should be. And yeah, I'm sure she's a big fan of mine, I'm sure.
all that we talked about. Papa Joe called the ex-wife part. Yeah. There's an
Also, Chris texted in, and I was just so confused because all he texted in was poop everywhere. It's like, what are you talking about? Is that why he doesn't like Thanksgiving? Because there's just poop everywhere on Thanksgiving. But then I thought about it. I was like, oh, the animals at the parade. There's just poop everywhere on the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need more context when you just text in poop everywhere.
Hey, Kyle says Macy's Day, Thanksgiving Day parade, the dog show followed by football. What more could you ask for? Yeah, what's the dog show? Is that the?
I don't know.
Oh,
That's
I think
never
I'm
been
the-
a part of mine.
I'm not a fan. Yeah. I
'Cause
love dogs, but I just don't.
I just found out about it this year that was a thing. What is it on?
Yeah, it's
NBC
usually
or
after
ABC, whatever.
I think it's NBC. It's usually
Okay.
after the parade.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because my girlfriend asked because she's coming to Thanksgiving at my house, and she said, "What is your tradition?" I was like, "Not really anything. I'll watch as much football as I physically can." And she was like, "Well, what about the dog show?" I was like, "What dog show?" And I guess there's a big dog show. Is it the Westminster?
Yeah.
The big one?
Yeah.
Are there multiple of those, or just the one is always on Thanksgiving?
I'm sure there are other big dogs, but that's the big one.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I'm gonna watch it this year. It's interesting.
RL weighs in on the Buford Lending live stream. Do y'all cook breakfast on Thanksgiving? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a day. I mean, I'll get up.
You need to
early.
cook breakfast so that you can have nourishment and energy to cook all the food for dinner/lunch.
We're also a late afternoon Thanksgiving family. Like I can't do the early.
What time do you eat?
We're like 12:30.
Oh, okay.
Which is smart. We debated this last year about the just getting the food out early so you can pick and eat all afternoon. But basically, just graze basically all afternoon.
I think it's
a
like
family of cows basically just grazing on the buffet of food all
I think that's
afternoon.
what we do too, between like 2 and 4, and it's just a combination lunch and dinner, and then you have one enormous meal, fall asleep, and then that's it for the day.
803-404-6100. We've got several days until Thanksgiving. As a matter of fact, next Tuesday is a type of Thanksgiving we'll have. Patrick and I will be at Bojangles on Bluff Road. Patrick is already more than excited. You did find some upsetting news that you were mentioning on the live stream.
Yeah, the Potato Bowl that I hyped up yesterday is no longer, it's not on the menu. I mean, I didn't necessarily confirm that, but I typed it in on Twitter, and there's a movement to hashtag bring back the Potato Bowl.
There's that. Next Tuesday, you can come join Patrick and myself at Bojangles, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pick yourself up a little breakfast. Maybe I'll go ahead and start planning that tailgating package for the Clemson game. You can come visit us. We will be at the Bojangles down on Bluff Road, the garnet wrapped Bojangles down there right next to Williams-Brice Stadium. You can stop by and hang out with us. We'll put you on air. We'll probably have some stuff to give away. So next Tuesday morning, come join us at the Bojangles. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette will be over there. Jen will be here in studio. You can come if you want to. You can come to the window behind me and wave at Jen if you'd like to see her.
Very sweet. Mm-hmm.
It would. Although, just make sure the blinds are up initially, because it'll freak you out if you open those things and somebody's standing there waving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're not prepared for it. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. Last night, the South Carolina women's team rolling over Clemson 74-40. Score I've got says 74.
I'm looking at the box score. It says 76-45.
Okay, thank you for the update. There is an article here that is incorrect then. Thank you. Or there was 2 points left off. So you're saying 76 in the article. I'm saying says 74. 70. It says, playing underneath two fresh new banners, USC shook off a sluggish start for a commanding 74-45 victory in front of 13,363 fans.
That's on Gamecocks Online?
No, but I didn't go to Gamecocks Online.
Yeah, well, Gamecocks Online on the box score.
Well, let's go with them.
Yeah.
All right, 76-45. That's even better. 31-point victory for the women last night.
Call the editor and tell them they need to fact check.
Get that checked out. So 803-404-6100. So South Carolina last night, Dawn Staley, the number one ranked South Carolina women's team, again, thumping Clemson 76-45 in front of 13,000 fans. Sounds like a pretty good turnout for opening night. They celebrated the Final Four appearance last year and the SEC tournament champions. Tonight at Colonial Life Arena, UAB, the University of Alabama, Birmingham, and Andy Kennedy will be in town to take on Frank Martin and his team. South Carolina 2-1 on the season. Patrick, because of years past, and we've seen some bad losses, and you've already lost to Princeton, and I don't know if Princeton will end up being a bad loss or not.
Probably, though.
But I'm hesitant to say it's a must-win game because I hate that term. But early in the season, you got to win these basketball games. And I'll look and see. I've had the Vegas line up, the Vegas spreads up here in front of me for the football. I did not pull up tonight's Vegas spread, although I was way off. Last week, the Vegas spread, I think when I told you Princeton was a 2-point favorite by game time, these things move. This is, again, I'm looking at VegasInsider.com, who uses BetMGM, Caesar Sportsbook. It's got Circa Sports in front of me. So I have all of the Vegas odds here in front of me as I'm looking at tonight's game. It lists Alabama Birmingham is a 2.5-point favorite over South Carolina. Now, last week I told you that spread. I said, hey, we were talking about it that morning, and I told you on Friday morning, I said, South Carolina is a 2-point underdog to Princeton.
Yeah.
Well, when I looked at like 6 o'clock, South Carolina was a 6.5-point favorite. So I don't know if a lot of my trust is still in these spreads that I'm looking at here on Vegas Insider for the basketball lines because they
I don't
seem
know.
to
I
move
can see
quite
those
dramatically.
Yeah, I can see those lines moving a lot because you have the Vegas bookmakers that are probably giving the correct lines, and then you see random fans saying South Carolina, Princeton. Of course, South Carolina's going to beat Princeton. That's a Power 5 school versus an Ivy League, and then you just bet it over to 6, and clearly Vegas was right the whole time. I don't know anything about UAB though. I mean, apparently they can score.
They can. They've put up a lot of
That's
points.
what Craig just put on live stream. I think we've heard about that. They score a lot of points.
They have been able to put up points without much of a problem in their first 3 games. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Again, coming up at 7:45 this morning, Dr. Wendell Holmes will join us from Prisma Health Orthopedic, and we'll get some of his thoughts on injuries around the Southeast as Bo Nix out this weekend with ankle surgery. Justin Ross is suffering from a foot injury right now, so we'll get his take on those 2 injuries and the timetable for both of those guys. Although we know TJ Finley yesterday speaking with the media at Auburn, Patrick, and he's ready. He's ready to go. He said his goal is to be in the NFL, and part of that goal is preparing yourself each and every week like you're going to be the starter so that when your time comes, you're ready to go. And, you know, TJ Finley against South Carolina fans, you're familiar with him. You saw him last year. You know kind of what's going on. I think it's a situation where I personally want to see TJ Finley. I say personally want to see him. I need to see him do it again, right? You need to see him do it again. Yeah. It's a different defensive staff. It's a different defensive game plan. It's a different team. Can he replicate what he did against South Carolina last year? Because I feel like there's a lot of fear there, and I don't know if I feel he's going to have the same performance that he did last year, 17-21 for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's the same player either. I mean, there's a very real chance that he got a lot better in the 1 year after a year's worth of SEC experience, and I can't say that I've really seen him play this year except for in that Georgia State comeback. And in the couple clips I saw, he looked thinner. Maybe it's the navy blue that is trimming.
He did look thinner. I'm with you on that.
He looked like he was in better shape because he was a big boy last year when he was playing South Carolina. Wasn't mobile at all, but I saw him. There was one particular play in the Georgia State game. Maybe I'll go back and look at the highlight, but he made a really nice scramble and then a throw on the run that was an absolute rocket. I know he's got a strong arm, but he looked like he was in much better shape. So if he's actually any sort of running threat right now, he could be more of a problem than he was against South Carolina last year because it was really just the offensive line of LSU in the running game that opened everything up. And I think it was enough. I just remember saying why was South Carolina playing 10 yards off on every receiver because there would be quick slants and guys would catch the ball and then run for 15, 20 more yards. So yeah, South Carolina made it very easy on him in his first start.
803-404-6100. If you want to weigh in with a Thanksgiving hot take, Raphael weighs in just trying to upset people or me or Patrick or Jen this morning. He just says, Thanksgiving is a meal. No, it's not. It's a day. We've I think officially decided it is a full-fledged day, maybe a 2-day event. I think in my house we make it a 3-day event, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So no, not just a meal. 803-404-6100. You can also join us on the Buford Lending live stream this morning if you want to get involved. Craig, RL, Troy, Trey, everybody getting in there with different takes, whether it's on the offensive coordinator situation at South Carolina, whether it's on the University of Alabama, Birmingham, or if it is just upset that our good buddy Waddy isn't standing outside behind me with a sign here on our beautiful studio here on Gervais Street. 803-404-6100 or the Buford Lending live stream. Your way to join us this morning. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. The Chevrolet Silverado, widely regarded as the best truck in the country, in the world, quite frankly, to be honest. It's kind of like it is the Georgia football team of trucks. Dominant, great, the best, the absolute best. And you know what? They're in stock. You can get them right now. You can go get yourself a Chevrolet Silverado at Love Chevrolet, the inventory leader right now. The Silverados are back in stock, and what you will not find on those Silverados is the ridiculous add-on stickers. Unlike other dealerships, Love Chevrolet is not tacking on extra add-ons to the price of their new trucks to take advantage of customers during the time of high demand and low supply. With 14 acres of brand new Chevys, you're guaranteed to find the Chevrolet vehicle you have been looking for. If you're not necessarily looking for a Silverado, that's okay. Love Chevrolet has got you covered. Plenty of other options, including a fantastic certified pre-owned lot you can choose from. Once you find it, you're going to get the best deal possible. The $1,000 low price guarantee, always ongoing. That means you can actually go shop other dealerships, take the deal back to the folks that love Chevrolet, and they will top it. And of course, you've heard me talk about trust, respect, being able to take care of your client. Well, that's exactly what the great sales staff at Love Chevrolet will do. They are fantastic. They have incredible integrity. That is why they are South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer and have been doing it since they opened their doors over 60 years ago. The family-owned dealership that offers an award-winning service department plus an incredible selection of vehicles. Love Chevrolet is your home when you go to look for that next vehicle. Go visit them. I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads. Yeah, you got the whole big window. We got 3 of them.
3 what?
Troy is saying, so tempting to go to that window with a sign.
How about this guy? Thanksgiving is just another excuse for Americans to overindulge and overeat. Why most adults have health problems. All right, pal. Last time we texted it was getting Jordan Birchdill signed today, December of 2019. Over at you.
But I don't think that's our other. Why is it always?
There's no way that guy hates Thanksgiving, man.
I will give him this. If you go back to his initial text message, this is during the Will Muschamp era. He was on the Aaron Feld bandwagon for strength and conditioning coach back then. But I feel like there's an abnormal number of people named Rich or Richard that are get involved with sports talk radio programs.
Yeah.
Like, I don't run into a Rich or a Richard. I know one. I think I know one. Richard Adams. I might know a few others that I'm not thinking of. Yeah. But other than that, but it feels like we've got more of them on sports talk radio. Yeah, you got multiple windows. I got another window there, another down there. So you got actually plenty of windows that you can go stand behind. And of course, right behind me, I'm pretty certain we should not have been doing it. I'm pretty sure we broke several ordinances by grilling out right here. I'm pretty sure an open flame, even though it was a grill, on the sidewalk next to a building is probably illegal.
Do you still take Thursday off work if Thanksgiving is just a meal from this texter? Totally missed the joke.
The other guy came back and said he does love Thanksgiving.
Tell him to tighten up. Okay. So we're done for the day. Quick 8 minutes here. Quick 8 to 10 minutes to start it. Yeah, Tuesday's my long day.
About broke the mic right here. Had an issue. I ended up with a microphone in my lap. That would have been a great way to start the segment. Next Tuesday, you can come visit Patrick and myself at Bojangles on Bluff Road. You can hang out. You can enjoy a Bowberry biscuit or a sausage biscuit. You can watch Patrick and I do radio. We'll even let you on. This coming Friday, you can join Heath Klein at Savage Craft Ale Works, 430 Center Street in West Columbia, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. this Friday. So if you want to get your Friday off to a great start, go visit Heath Klein at Savage Craft Ale Works, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. There will be free appetizers from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. You can also register to win a $250 gift card to Garnet and Black Traditions, all thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or over. See site for details. Void where prohibited. Again, Heath Klein at Savage Craft Ale Works, 430 Center Street in West Columbia from 4 to 7 p.m. this Friday. And there will be free appetizers from 4 to 5 p.m. next Tuesday. Again, you can get out if you want to see what Patrick and I really look like in person. If you want to see how tall or short, depending on which way you want to go with it, I actually am. You can come visit us at Bojangles on Bluff Road and hang out with us 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. You don't have to hang out all 3 hours. Get yourself some food, hang around. You can see Patrick's fabulous mustache that he's got going over there. It does look very good, by the way. It's really grown nicely.
I think I'm going to shave it in December.
It's going to be a letdown for
I don't think I can be a mustache guy forever necessarily.
Oh boy!
But it is weird because, like my girlfriend had said, now I've known her for 2 years, and she said, but now when I picture you with a mustache.
Of course.
Like when I close my eyes, I picture mustache.
Well, there's a thought. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning if you would like to. Again, the college football schedule. We'll catch up with Brian Edwards, Vegas Insider.com and MajorWager.com coming up at 8:20 this morning. He's already sent me some of his picks for the weekend. But Patrick, as we kind of go on, we mentioned those 12 o'clock games. This coming weekend, again, not the best schedule of football games available. The 3:30 schedule. Number 21 Arkansas is at number 2 Alabama. You mentioned earlier people not being happy with their coaches. Sam Pittman did get off to the really good start. Arkansas has been in and out of the bottom half of the rankings, but they're 7-3. They're a big underdog this coming weekend at Alabama, but they are 7-3. They've got a chance to finish pretty strong if they cannot get walloped by Alabama. They get Missouri Thanksgiving weekend. So you get
if
that.
They lose both, it's still a successful season, right? A wildly successful season. 7-5. When they were, I think their win total was 4.5 or 5.5.
Well, I think we took the under. I think we all took the under
we
in
were
that.
Proven wrong within the first 4 games, basically.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at their schedule. They beat number 7 A&M, Texas A&M, and then they lose 3 games in a row to Georgia, Ole Miss, and Auburn. Super respectable. And then they win 2. They beat number 17 Mississippi State, beat LSU in Baton Rouge, and here they are playing Alabama, and then they got Missouri next week. Certainly, if they go 8-4, it's a wildly successful season, right?
It's hard to, if they go 8-4, it's a very successful season. The Texas win doesn't look as good now as
but they crushed them.
They crushed them, but it just doesn't look as good in September. It's kind of like how that Florida.
But A&M looks. You look at those two. I mean, Texas win doesn't look as great, but the A&M win looks even better now.
A&M win looks very good. That's your big 3:30 game. Alabama hosting Arkansas. The one you mentioned, and it is an interesting Saturday from this standpoint. You got Michigan State at Ohio State. Ohio State, the 19-point favorite there, and certainly number 4 in the college football playoff ranking. But the 3:30 game on ESPN, SMU, who's putting up a lot of points and could pull the upset, is on the road at Cincinnati. And there's a lot of talk about that game just from the standpoint, if Cincinnati's going to lose a game, this one's being hyped up. I was watching College Football Live yesterday on television, and they were kind of hyping this game up. Cincinnati hosting SMU again this coming Saturday. And you look at it, and I think there's a lot of people, Patrick, nobody's really giving Michigan State much of a chance, but we'll get into the Utah-Oregon game, which is a night game. Utah's favored in that game. A lot of people are saying, hey, there's your trap game for number 3 Oregon, and then Cincinnati hosting SMU. A lot of people looking at SMU. Cincinnati is an 11.5-point favorite, 10.5 on FanDuel. But Cincinnati, a lot of people saying that this could be where they get upset and get knocked out of the college football playoff.
Well, if Cincinnati loses and Oregon loses, does it guarantee that there will be a 2-loss team in the college football playoff for the first time? I feel like it all but guarantees that.
No, it opens. It opens the door
for Notre Dame.
For Notre Dame and potentially Oklahoma State if Oklahoma State could run the table out. Oklahoma State, if they can.
Oklahoma.
I think Oklahoma's done, buddy. I think Oklahoma's
you
done.
Think
They dropped them to number 13. Of course, I see what you're saying with Oklahoma knocking off Oklahoma State, getting into
a 1-loss Big 12 champion.
Yeah, I 13. It feels like the play to me.
You think an 11-1 Notre Dame with 0 quality wins on their schedule gets in over a 12-1 Big 12 champion Oklahoma.
Yeah,
that's embarrassing.
I think Notre
Dame stinks.
I think it was. That's my guess. It's all speculation
I'll be
and a
furious
guess.
if that happens because Notre Dame is terrible.
But I mean, Patrick, if you look at the current rankings and the fact that Oklahoma and a brand name, Oklahoma's a brand name in college football. You don't have to like them, and a lot of people can agree that they've been blown out in the college football playoffs. And then I think we have one. I can't remember who it is, and I appreciate you always listening. But I think it might be Allen is who it might be, who always texts in is like, I don't want to see Oklahoma in the playoff anymore. They get blown out. He wants to see
Agreed.
Cincinnati, and
But
that's
everyone's
fine.
blown out.
But the point that I guess I'm making on that, Oklahoma is still a brand name in college football. And the fact that they were undefeated and starting at like number 8 initially in the college football playoff, I thought spoke volumes about what the committee
thought of them,
how they viewed them. And to move them to 13 as a one-loss team, to me, that's another sign that I mean, they're behind a 2-loss Ole Miss team, a 2-loss Baylor team.
How can they be worse than a Notre Dame team that started off their season by nearly losing to Florida State and nearly losing to Toledo? They should have lost to Toledo. It took a 2-minute drill to beat Toledo. Notre Dame is very bad.
Yeah, and the reason we're discussing this is because you look at Oregon, you look at Cincinnati this weekend, 2 trap games. Oregon is an underdog on the road at Utah and Salt Lake City on Saturday night. Cincinnati is an 11.5-point favorite. Let's not act like it's a pick'em contest over there against SMU, but it is a game to keep an eye on. It is a game to keep an eye on. And one other thing for Cincinnati that was pointed out over the last 24 hours, Houston has managed to work their way into the college football playoff rankings. And that one's key because if Houston, who's currently sitting at 9-1, can win out, it would be Houston and Cincinnati in the AAC championship game. And while I don't know if many people are going to say, yeah, Houston's a quality win, if Cincinnati can pick up another win against a ranked college football playoff team. And again, I use that ranking because I feel like that's what the committee's going off of. Houston currently at 23 with games left against Memphis and Connecticut. They'll beat Connecticut by a whole bunch of points.
Is Houston's not a better win than Wisconsin, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then Cincinnati would have multiple better wins than Notre Dame. Notre Dame's best win right now is Wisconsin. They played 2 ranked teams and they lost to Cincinnati at home. They beat Wisconsin. Notre Dame's not good.
I'm not. Nobody's arguing.
I'm just getting ahead of this. I'm going to protest if Notre Dame makes college football playoff.
Yeah, it's we'll see what happens. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. Scott weighing in on the discussion earlier about UAB and South Carolina tonight. He points out what I said earlier, the minus UAB minus 2.5 tonight. He says South Carolina shooting 24 threes or averaging 24 threes taken a game at a 23% clip. UAB averaging 95 points a game. Scott Wagon says Alabama Birmingham rolls tonight. 803-404-6100. Coming up, we'll catch up with Dr. Wendell Holmes of Prisma Health Orthopedic. Couple injuries that we want to talk about. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. What is? Nah. You didn't send me a spot.
I don't think you did. Yeah, you do say run out the table. You've said a couple times, run out the table. Yeah. Should run out the table. Run out the table. Because somebody texted in yesterday, what? Because I didn't answer because we were on we had a guest. I can't remember who the guest was, and they said, Patrick, I'm surprised you haven't
run
correct.
out the table.
Yeah.
I think I do say that.
Yeah, you do say that.
But what did you say? We had a guest.
Somebody texted in and said, I'm surprised Patrick hasn't corrected Bill on run out the table. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that with a guest on. He understood.
Run the table out?
Run the table. Just run the table.
Do I say run out the table or run the table out?
Either one.
Do I say both?
You might say both. I don't know.
I might throw out in there. At the
Either
beginning or
one.
the
Either
end.
way, it's not.
Let me speak the way I want to speak.
If South Carolina runs
It's your
the
own
table,
radio show, Craig, and you can talk the way you want to talk.
So, yeah, it was Craig. Okay. Yeah, it was during. We had a guest on, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Craig, Craig. You say texting, Craig.
I think Craig commented that yesterday
It's your own radio show.
when
You
we had a
talk the way you wanna
guest.
talk.
But that's why I didn't correct him. I'm pretty sure it was when we had a guest.
Do a podcast. Let me critique you. Was it? Well, I figure if I'm going to talk funny, what is it? Morgan Wallen. What is up with? I can never hear Jen if she comments, but what's the deal? Why do all the young ladies like Morgan Wallen?
Mullet.
Is it just the mullet?
They love the mullet. Lonnie's a good singer, but they like the mullet. I know one Morgan Wallen song, I think. He sings Whiskey Glasses, I think.
I can hardly
that's
hear
the
you.
only song I know. I know he's huge.
Can't hear you guys on live stream.
Your mic is off.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm trying to not have an echo. And I'm trying to be able to hear Jen. But yeah, I saw a lot of girls yesterday seem to be a big fan of Morgan Wallen.
Yeah. The mullet is definitely back. Girls like mullets. Not all girls, but some girls are very into mullets. I thought about getting one, but if I was still in college, I would get a mullet. Can't do it as an adult, though. You know who Cody Jinks is?
Hmm?
Who is that?
He's like a country singer. I listen to him.
I know some country artist names, but I can never put the song to the artist, match the song with the artist. I know songs, I never know who sings them. And I don't know new music. Song has to put on the radio so much for me to actually remember it.
Did you see the video that I retweeted last night of the girl, the
Oh.
multiple girls?
Back to back head shots to the face.
I mean,
that really hurts too.
yeah.
It was a free kick directly off a girl's face. And then the girl, it bounces right back to the kick taker and she volleys it right into another girl's face.
Well, it
Two
actually
absolute
it hits the
monster
first
shots
girl,
to the face.
It actually, and I thought about tweeting. It should have been a handball initially too,
because it hit her.
it hits the first girl gets her
in the-
hand up and it hits her in the hand and ricochets off her hand.
I thought it hit her in the face. It didn't hit her in the face?
Oh, by the way, you know that technically somebody said there is no garnet and black tradition yesterday. They sent this thing on the text line that it's
Game.
I can't remember. I know you don't write these, but I was just yeah. I was told that's what somebody texted me yesterday when I read it. I think it might be called Meadow Tradition or something. I don't know. You might. Well, you might want to just FYI. But making me look stupid. Saying the wrong score of the women's game because it got typed out. And people are making fun of me for saying run out the table. we don't feel that there is enough Heath Klein in your life. Not only is he going to be at Savage Craft Ale Works this coming Friday from 4 to 7 p.m. Next week, he'll be at Hall's Chop House on Monday, live Monday. Heath Klein, you can go visit him as he will be at Hall's Chop House located 1221 Main Street in Columbia from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We, I guess 107.5 The Game, will be collecting donations for Harvest Hope Food Bank. Non-perishable food items will be accepted, so you can bring those to Heath Klein next Monday. Hall's Chop House live. Heath Klein. So this Friday, Savage Craft Ale Works, 4 to 7 p.m. Monday, you can go visit Heath Klein at Hall's Chop House. The Game is gearing up to show our school spirit leading up to the Gamecocks and Clemson on Saturday, November 27th. And again, next Monday, don't go to Hall's this week, but next Monday, you can join Heath as he broadcasts live next Monday at Hall's Chop House, and we will be collecting non-perishable food items for Harvest Hope Food Bank. We can beat Clemson, we can beat hunger, and it's brought to you by Sound and Images. So a lot of Heath Klein in your life coming up. Let's go out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Dr. Wendell Holmes, who I'm sure loved that last part about beating Clemson. Dr. Holmes, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Well, we haven't played Clemson yet, so we're doing very well. We will get back to you on that first question, though, a week from Monday after the Clemson game, and the answer might not be the same, although some changes there. Justin Ross now will have to have surgery. You are an expert in that field, Dr. Wendell Holmes with Prisma Health Orthopedic. You've grown up in Columbia, so you're familiar with this South Carolina Clemson rivalry. But Dr. Holmes, that injury for Justin Ross, the foot injury, and now appearing to have surgery, according to Dabo Swinney. What do you kind of make of that? What do you think a proper timetable maybe for his return in order to, I'm guessing, prep for the NFL draft would be?
Well, so it sounds like he had a stress fracture that wouldn't heal and had to have surgery for it. And I'm not privy to the exact details of the injury, but there's a couple bones in your foot that you can get stress fractures, more than a couple, but the problem bones are the fifth metatarsal over on the outside of your foot. And sometimes that just requires placing a screw in it, stabilizing it. And sometimes athletes will get back pretty quick. NFL Combine is probably easily doable for him, but bowl game, I don't know if there's enough time for that. But and then another one in the news was Bo Nix. He actually played a few series on an injured ankle. He had an ankle fracture that they had to fix. So that's pretty unusual for a guy to be able to play on a fractured ankle. But those are tough injuries. I don't know if Clemson's going to have any players left to play Carolina this year. They might have to cancel the game.
No, there's no canceling. I'll go play
We
quarterback.
have a chance to win this year.
Yeah,
No
there's
canceling.
no canceling of the game. There's. I also have a bottle of Crown Royal French oak casket that was given to me that from what I understand, is now out of production. That they're not making that, and I held it for so long that I decided it needed to be opened only on the most special of special occasions. I would deem breaking the losing streak one of the most special of special occasions to crack open that bottle for a few. You would agree with that? Are you a bourbon guy? Are you that
I will sip bourbon occasionally, but I'm more of a beer and wine guy.
Okay.
Bourbon's too strong for me.
You're more
But,
if South Carolina wins, you're more than welcome to stop by the tailgate though.
Yeah, I might need some help after that.
Let's back to those. I want to go back to the foot because as people listen, we get older. A lot of our listeners are not collegiate athletes. As we get older, how much easier does it become to injure your foot, to gain a stress fracture like what you just called? Does it become easier just walking around and stepping on a Lego?
Well, a stress fracture, some people have trouble understanding exactly what it is. When you fall down the steps and hurt yourself, it's easy to understand how you break a bone that way. A stress fracture is actually from repetitive loading. You load it over and over again, it develops small cracks, and if you keep loading it, it develops a crack you can't walk on, or a fracture you can't walk on. And the majority of stress fractures, the short answer to your question is yes, it becomes easier. And, a classic way to get a stress fracture is sit on the couch for 6 months and decide you're going to run every day 5 miles. Well, you'll get a stress fracture if you don't ramp up gradually. So for those of us who are not elite athletes, slow ramp up to your activity of choice is the key to avoiding that kind of injury.
So like the bone gets used to not being.
You're
Is that what that
lazy.
means?
Yeah, I think
Well,
that's what he's
The
saying.
bone gets like
Laziness.
Your bones actually strengthen themselves through loading. If you don't weight bear, like you've heard the astronauts, their bones, they don't get loaded. So if they've been in space for a while, their bones actually have gotten weaker while they've been in space. So the way your bones get stronger is by gradually loading them more and more. And if you do it gradually, they strengthen up and get used to the activity. So like running's the perfect example. If you just gradually ramp up your mileage, your bones will strengthen themselves and get used to it. If you suddenly increase your mileage, that puts you at risk for a stress fracture.
John weighs in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. I believe he knows you. He makes sure to point out you are a huge Clemson fan, which is why you are why you might need what you wouldn't be enjoying the post game festivities post Clemson game. And yes, more people are also telling me Dane and Trey. Thank you. Yeah, Canadian Crown Royal's Canadian whiskey. I'm aware of that. But if you've listened to this program, you know I'm a bourbon drinker. But yes,
well, just full disclosure, I grew up in a Gamecock household, and my 89-year-old dad is still a huge Gamecock fan. In fact, the first color TV my family bought was to watch George Rogers play Southern California on national TV. Just so I'm really familiar with both programs. So,
what is Thanksgiving like then, or what has Thanksgiving like been with your now backing of Clemson and the father's backing? Does he cuts in front of you at the Thanksgiving buffet line, or he just shoves you down, right? He still treats you like the son.
Right.
Yes.
Correct. Or hits me with his cane one way or the other. But it's actually better now than it used to be. Thanksgiving is pregame.
Oh.
In the old days, Thanksgiving was postgame. So everybody ribbed everybody at Thanksgiving for who lost. But now it's pregame and everything's pretty quiet at this point in time.
Yes, unfortunately. Now the cane, I do like that. It sounds like a great father. It sounds like he's raised a great son as well, except for one minor mistake you've made. So, Saturday against Wake Forest, you did mention all the injuries. Your take on that is Clemson now, because Patrick and I were talking about it. If they win tomorrow, if they win Saturday, they can beat South Carolina. That's 9 wins. You go to a bowl and you pick up the 10th win. It's not the season you hoped for, but you got to be pleased with a 10-win season, right?
Well, I have a historical perspective, which some of the latecomers don't for Clemson football. So, I'd be very happy with a 8 or 9 win season. And, everybody's critical of Dabo and Tony Elliott, but this could turn out to be one of their better coaching years if they can pull that off, because they are down like 17 scholarship players or something ridiculous. And got a new quarterback that hasn't quite figured it out yet. So if they get 9 wins, everybody should be very happy with that.
He is Dr. Wendell Holmes with Prisma Health Orthopedic. You can follow them on Instagram. Prisma Health Orthopedics is the way to do that. And again, just to recap, Justin Ross, it sounds significant, but it's something that at his age, he should be able to heal from pretty quickly once they get it fixed, as opposed to me, who's 39 years old. I would not heal as quickly, correct?
Right. I think the outlook should be great for him. Like I said, I don't know the specific details, but usually that's something we can get healed up and the athlete can go back to competition. So I'm real hopeful for Justin that he can do that.
Real quick, Josh weighs in and asks a question on the Cool Care Heating Air text line. What is the risk of a stress fracture after time off from an injury like an ACL? And he uses Marcus Lattimore as an example. But if you got an ACL, what's the risk of a stress fracture at that point?
So that's a great question, because one of the keys in rehab from an ACL or any other injury is you got to keep the rest of your body in shape. The guy comes back from an ACL and immediately pulls the opposite hamstring or something. Well, that's because they were kind of out of shape and probably not ready for competition. But if you don't work very hard in your rehab to keep the entire body in shape, you're at risk for other injuries, including stress fractures. So that's a big part of what we do in our rehab for ACLs and other injuries.
Dr. Holmes, appreciate you joining us this weekend. We wish your team you good luck this coming Saturday. Not so much the following Saturday. We hope your family Thanksgiving goes well. Please do not insult your father. As a matter of fact, be nice. Wear something garnet to the family Thanksgiving.
You got it. Thank y'all for having me.
Glad to have you. Dr. Wendell Holmes with Prisma Health Orthopedic this morning. Go visit him. Great guy. Go visit him if you got an issue. They do a phenomenal job over there. I have enjoyed talking with them throughout the season and appreciate some of the questions. Get some stuff answered. That's what we do on this program. We bring you great insight, whether it's Thanksgiving, what else have we talked about? Huh?
Stress fractures.
Stress fractures. Yeah, all about that. Well, I was going to say whether it's stress
So
fractures.
stay active.
I was thinking about running 10 miles tomorrow, but now I'm not going to do that.
You look like a guy who's ready to run 10 miles tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm right there behind you. I was
don't
thinking about running basically nowhere.
At all.
Yeah. We'll do another hour. Next hour, Brian Edwards, Vegas Insider, joins us. Stick around, why don't you? You're listening to the early game, 107.5 The Game.
Gamecocks, Braves, the NFL with live local radio. 107.5 The Game, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia, a Cumulus media station.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, zero heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. Zero heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Shantae, can you sweep that, please?
Mina's salon business is growing faster than she can keep up with. She needs a new shop manager before her bookings go out of style.
Curtain bangs and balayage would look so good on you. Just hang on one second. Can you please answer that?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed.
All right. That was what I thought. That was exactly what I thought when you said 89 years old, too. Goodness gracious. Penn's Jelani Williams suffered 3 consecutive ACL tears and then had a canceled season last year. That is absurd. 5th-year senior hasn't played in 1,795 days. Played his first game last night. That's insane. In and out. Have you seen the story about this Penn basketball player, Bill? They have a player who hasn't played in almost 5 years because he had 3 consecutive ACL tears and then the canceled season for the Ivy League. Last night was his first game in 1,795 days. So I guess he played as a freshman, missed 4 years as a fifth-year senior, played his first game. Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, Auburn's got some into the storm where they have a. It's a cool picture. All righty. Oh, good. Brian is awake. Yes, but we got. He tweeted at it 6 minutes ago. So I was just wondering. Oh, yeah, Trey. That Crown Royal. I used to drink a lot of Crown Royal. I don't drink as much Crown Royal as I used to. I've gone to more of the bourbon. I got into the Evan Williams last night. I have not, RL, really gotten into statistics for South Carolina basketball just yet. Usually I'll wait a few games. It's kind of like betting on college basketball. But I don't know if they are or not. I don't. See if they got the season stats up here. They must, because we know that the shooting is not going very well.
Maryland lost to George Mason last night.
Yeah, they did.
It's so much potential. There are more so left than anybody can put pro.
No, RL. South Carolina has got a plus 15 currently through 3 games in the rebounding column. South Carolina has 143 rebounds on the season. The opponents have 98. So, no. I hope they are. They are a good basketball team. That's exactly what UAB has done so far. Oh, might just be because
we're not talking into the mic.
Yeah, we're not. I've got the mic over here, but I'll listen to Jen taking a shot at Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he did fight through a foot.
Final hour of the Thursday edition of the early game. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrett, Jen Jensen is back with us after a 2-day hiatus. Hopefully we will not annoy her in the final hour, and she will come back for the Friday episode as well.
Oh, yeah. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
That's what we do each and every. Actually, we just stay glued to our phones starting at about 7 o'clock to see if you all of a sudden become sick.
Yeah. Sick.
Yes. The air quotes coming from Jen. If you want to weigh in this morning, 803-404-6100. Big thank you to Dr. Wendell Holmes for joining us there in the previous segment from Prisma Health Orthopedic to talk a little bit about the injury and surgery expected to happen. I believe today is what Dabo Swinney said. I might be wrong, but surgery might have occurred yesterday. But I believe surgery expected today for Justin Ross that will end his season. And Patrick, that will be something that we talk about next week. Clemson's offense struggling to begin with, but Justin Ross certainly a guy that they had kind of relied upon. Just unfortunate for him. He's having a fantastic career. Then he gets the unfortunate news regarding the back, spine, neck area, and doesn't look like he's going to play football. He battles back, does a great job, and then unfortunately has sustained a fracture, a stress fracture in his foot that, according to Dabo Swinney, occurred prior to the Georgia game. He was able to play through it for 10 games, but now they are going to end his season and take him out of the lineup there. So Clemson and Wake Forest. It will be interesting to see if Clemson can keep up with Wake Forest this weekend. Wake Forest is putting up a lot of points.
Favorite.
But I mean, that's part of it. It'll be interesting to see if they can keep up with 58 points against North Carolina, 45 against North Carolina State. The Wake Forest offense is humming right now. Dave Clawson. Now, what also we talked a little bit about coaching and potentially some things that could happen there with Lincoln Riley. We mentioned Mel Tucker earlier. Dave Clawson's name is being at least thrown around a little bit for the Virginia Tech job. And I don't know if that will affect this weekend's game. I don't know if
you're a Wake fan and you're thinking about that, are you thinking let's keep winning so that he's motivated to stay at Wake? Is that, or does it not matter?
I don't think it matters.
If we win the ACC, then he'll think, you know what, I can actually build something here at Wake Forest.
My opinion, it's just it's one of those things where you know where you're at as a program, and you realize if somebody wants to come and pay the money and take your coach, they were successful. They had some success under Jim Grobe, and then he left to go to I think it was Nebraska back in the day. Now that I say this, I feel so old trying to remember what exactly happened there. But is that right? Am I thinking correctly? Are people on board with this? Did Jim Grobe go coach at Nebraska for a little bit? And if so, he doesn't feel like he was there for very long. Now I'm really starting to date myself. No, he went to Baylor. He was at Wake Forest and then went to Baylor. But for some reason, I feel like something happened and he was going to go to Nebraska. Maybe I'm just crazy. I feel like it, but he went to Baylor for one season, and then that didn't. It was what it was. So anyway, 803-404-6100. How you can join us. So I think that's it. If you look at Jim Grobe, he goes off and leaves Baylor in 2013. Dave Clawson comes in. They've had some success. It's just kind of one of those things with that's what Wake Forest does. I don't think you're too worried about it. But Clemson's offense, being able to keep track with Wake Forest offense on Saturday certainly will be a storyline, and they will try to do it without Justin Ross. On the other side of things, Auburn coming to town, they will try to win a football game without Bo Nix. They're going to do it with TJ Finley this weekend. But Patrick, we talked about
more importantly, Anders
Carlson, yes, the kicker, also having surgery. There was a picture of him on his Instagram page, but they do have Tank Bigsby. And we bring that up because we talked about it yesterday. The South Carolina run defense has not exactly been a brick wall against quality running backs this year. We pointed out, everybody knows what happened last week. Tyler Beatty running for 209 yards. Chris Rodriguez went for 140. Texas A&M had two running backs go for 100 yards. Tennessee had a running back go for 100 yards. The South Carolina defensive line has been pushed around when teams decide they want to run the football.
But is this, Brian Matthews mentioned it yesterday, I mean, the Auburn receiving core is bad. Is this the worst receiving core, SEC receiving core that South Carolina has played yet? I mean, who else is even up there? Because all these other teams that ran,
You're talking about in the
on South
SEC,
Carolina's
in the
schedule
SEC.
so far. Like if South Carolina just decides, no matter what, we're not going to let Tank Bigsby beat us. We're not going to let Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter beat us. They're going to have to do it through the air. TJ Finley's going to have to make throws against one-on-one coverage. Well, the wide receivers are going to have to beat us, and that's the way we're going to lose. If we lose because the big play or wide receivers making big-time one-on-one contested catches, then so be it. But Bo Nix Tank Bigsby is not going to run for 120 yards and beat us that way.
You know, the problem with that is we've seen Mookie Cooper got behind the South Carolina
But
defense
Mookie
last
Cooper is
week.
better. He's probably better than anybody on Auburn, right?
I don't know, but people are getting behind the South Carolina defense.
But
I understand what you're
Demetrius
saying.
Robertson is really fast.
Right.
He is. We've seen it. But he's also never been that productive. He has big plays here and there. And not to say he wouldn't do that against South Carolina. Like this would be the game that he catches a 90-yard touchdown. But there's not that much of a threat. I mean, one safety over the top, just tell him, don't let anybody get behind you. No matter what, don't let anybody get behind you. I don't know that any of the South Carolina safeties have the range to even make that happen, but you can't let Tank Bigsby beat you. After last week, you knew that all Missouri was going to do was give the ball to Tyler Beatty and feed him all night long, and that's how they're going to win. And you just all you had to do was stop him, and you win the game. And not only could you not stop him, you let him go over 200 yards. You can't let that happen again. You can't get beaten like that when there's clearly one option. There's no 1A, 1B for Auburn. It's Tank Bigsby, and that's all they got. Especially without Bo Nix.
I mean, I think that the crowd will be into it, and you're right. If you can kind of have the similar game plan, the similar idea of the Florida game where you can get up early, maybe force TJ Finley to try and beat you. We'll see, but you are right on your assessment. We'll continue down that path. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100, how you can do so. This morning. Coming up in about 10 minutes, Brian Edwards with Vegas Insider will join us. Let's get out to the phone lines real quick. Ray, please help me, Ray, because I've gotten myself completely turned around on this Jim Grobe thing. I thought he took the Nebraska job, and then as Patrick was talking, I looked it up. There's article after article after article telling me that Jim Grobe regrets not taking the Nebraska job. Then I come across one that says, from Tom Osborne, saying he never offered Jim Grobe the Nebraska. I am really thrown off on this Jim Grobe stuff from back in the day. Help me out. What do you got?
Well, I'm kind of like you. I get, the last 10 years it kind of is a blur sometimes, especially because, just think about it. Wake Forest is either 2012 or 2013. They actually won the ACC and played in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
So, so when Grobe did that, he was like the hot commodity. And so I know Nebraska, there might have been some interest, maybe there wasn't, but then he went to Baylor to, help clean up their mess. And the whole idea, he was just going to coach there 3 years until they kind of got it going again and hired another coach. But anyway, I agree 100% with Patrick. Man, I'd rather sell out for the run and stop Tank Bigsby, because that dude, you don't want him getting 5, 6, 7 yards a clip and just dying of a slow death. I put 9 guys up, and not only do I put them up, I have them attacking the line of scrimmage. I don't have them sitting back. And, I just take my chances that way. It's kind of you pick your poison, and I would rather have the guy throw the ball. I think it was Bear Bryant that says when you pass the ball, 3 things happen and 2 are bad. Of course, they complete interception. But definitely, I put them up there, and I said, we got to stop Tank. But anyway, that's my take, guys, and go Cox.
Appreciate the phone call, Ray. 803-404-6100. Yeah, the Jim Grobe thing that was a tangent and a rabbit hole we went down. But going back and looking at his career, it was actually 2006, Patrick. I don't know if you knew this. 2006, he won the ACC with a thriller in the conference championship game, a 9-6 victory over Georgia Tech, and they did go on to play. And at that time, the BCS Bowl games were back then, went down to the Orange Bowl. 803-404-6100. That's how you can join us this morning. Coming up next, we will catch up with Brian Edwards, a Vegas Insider. He will give you his picks for the week. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. You've been feeling sore. You've been in a lot of pain lately. Thanksgiving's coming up, and you want to get out, maybe have a game of Thanksgiving football with the family, then you need to call QC Kinetics this morning to get in touch with them to get your lifestyle back. 803-281-6860. QC Kinetics is at the top of the regenerative medicine field. They are helping people right now get their quality of life back that they have been wanting. So why would you wait around? Give them a phone call, 803-281-6860. I mean, do you really want to go through another year with awful joint pain, with inflammation in your muscles, in your ligaments and tissues? You need to get yourself back on the right track, feeling great, running around, enjoying your lifestyle. And to do that, you can give QC Kinetics a phone call today. 803-281-6860. No steroids, no opioids, no surgery. That is all it is. They will use natural biologics, again, to get you back to feeling the way that you should. Don't let others keep giving you steroids. Don't let them tell you that surgery is the only option. Give QC Kinetics a call for a free consultation. 803-281-6860. That's QC Kinetics. A lot of doctor terminology there that I am not good at reading.
Yeah, Wizards ended their 5-game win streak last night in Charlotte. But they are first place in the East. Maybe on pace to win their first ever 50-game season as a franchise, Wizards franchise.
What's going on here? Got about 9 different, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tabs open. Oh, good Lord.
This looks very cool. I don't know how Peter Jackson does this, but
What is that own?
remasters footage. It's on Disney Plus, yeah. Because this Beatles documentary looks like it was just filmed last week. And he did the same thing with a World War II movie they made. They Shall Not Grow Old, and it all looks very good. It's World War II footage that's been remastered and colorized, and it's just like he makes it look like it was just filmed. It's crazy. This is almost a positive thing to say. Almost.
All right.
You see, you're a positive person, though, but not when it comes to sport. Not when it comes to Gamecock sports.
She retweets a lot of positive stuff. You do retweet a lot of positive stuff.
But when it comes to predictions and things like that, always negative. Positive, always ready to congratulate, be happy, but you think we're going to win on Saturday? I bet you're going to say no.
Oh, she's right on her predictions. That's a positive comment. A tooting of her own horn comment, but oh, look, there's a bunch of people loving the show this morning. They're doing the little love emoji thingy up at the top. So sweet of y'all.
Yeah, thanks for loving it, guys.
Hope, do you do that? Is RL right if we
Yeah,
lose the coin toss?
pretty much,
Do you pay that? There are times I do pay attention to the coin toss. Like, I will admit, I don't follow the Braves as closely as Hope did. But if you'd have asked me in the World Series, I thought the Braves bullpen would have been atrocious the way that Hope would tweet, because late in a game when the Braves bullpen would come, not in the regular season, not during the playoffs, but during the regular season when I wasn't paying attention, I would just see a tweet come from Hope that basically that the Braves bullpen was coming on and that they were entering the game and that the Braves had no chance. So I do agree with RL. I thought when they got to the World Series, I was like, man, Braves bullpen is probably going to let them down, because the only way I really know about them is through Hope, and they must be just absolutely. They must be throwing
Brian's ready.
gardeners out there. All right, I'm going to do the Buford Lending right now.
Shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. And now, back to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
As always, you can weigh in on the Buford Lending live stream, where we are making fun of one of our favorite live streamers, Hope, who Patrick has been trying to get to be more positive.
No, I mean, it's okay, but you can't just be negative and then
We're trying to get her
positive.
We're trying to, so you can
I'm
go
openly negative.
You
I
are.
admit-
You
I
are.
admit it.
You are an openly negative person. So you can go to the Buford Lending live stream. You can go to the YouTube page and check out 107.5 The Game there and subscribe. We're up over 900 subscribers. We appreciate that. But it is the Buford Lending live stream. I want to tell you about Buford Lending and Benji Getsy. Right now, the Treasury yields will slowly rise. This is according to Benji. I'm not smart enough to know this, but the Treasury yields will slowly rise in 2022 with trending higher rates, but you can expect a strong housing market again in 2022. That probably means it's time to continue trying to refinance or purchase that new home. So what you need to do is give Benji Getsy and Buford Lending a phone call today, 843-524-2404. As Benji will tell you, and I will attest to, the rates on Bay Street in Buford are better than those on Wall Street. So why would you not give Benji and his team a chance to evaluate your current mortgage situation? 843-524-2404 is how you can reach Benji and Buford Lending. Give them the opportunity to earn your business. It's free evaluation. All you got to do is make the phone call today and see what the rate would be. You can do refinancing. Maybe you're looking at purchasing a home. Now is the time to check with Benji Getsy and Buford Lending. 843-524-2404 is how you can do that. Big thank you to Benji for sponsoring the live stream as well, the Buford Lending live stream. Give them a phone call today, 843-524-2404. Allow Benji and his team to earn your business by showing you what they can do. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines now and go to our guy, Brian Edwards with Vegas Insider, where he is the senior handicapper. You can also check out his work on majorwager.com. Good morning to you, Brian. Hope you're doing well out there in sunny Florida.
Good morning, gentlemen. What's happening?
Well, we're counting down the days to Thanksgiving. A week from today, do you have? Is the Edwards family a big Thanksgiving Day festival, or is it a meal, as one Will Muschamp like to say?
We have a big lunch, and then we come back for leftovers or sandwiches that night. And I don't know if I'd call it a festival, but it's a big get together.
That is the way to do it, right, Patrick? Yep. That's big. We call it a festival up here. It's just a festival of food.
It's the best leftover holiday of the year, too. It's
Also,
the best leftovers ever.
What I was going to say, also, we'll need to get you on maybe a little bit earlier next week to give some Thanksgiving Day picks, because you got football next week. So we will have to maybe arrange that, maybe get you on Wednesday instead of Thursday to give the holiday picks. But we got games this coming weekend and a couple that you really prefer. Let's go with two. Let's start with South Carolina, both basketball and football. South Carolina, not a game that you are particularly thrilled with, but in what you sent to me, you do have a slight lean toward the Gamecocks plus 7.5. How much were you surprised the Bo Nix injury moved the line 2.5, 3 points, or does that seem about right for the way Bo Nix has played this year?
Yeah, that seems about right. I mean, Finley does have some experience. His first career start last year, now albeit at home in Baton Rouge, and they scored 52 on South Carolina, and he had a really good game. But he came in and sparked them to the comeback win over Georgia State and played really well. But then the next week, and he probably had some nerves going back to LSU, did not play very well when he got in. So I don't know what we'll get from Finley. I mean, we've seen him play good. We've seen him play not so good. But South Carolina has been really good at home, the only loss being to Kentucky. And I lean their way. I don't know that I'll play it. In my contest where I had to pick 25 games, I took South Carolina plus 7.5. Obviously, they've got the motivation to get bowl eligible, and would certainly like to get that out of the way at home and not be forced to win at Clemson on that. Although winning at Clemson is certainly not the Herculean task it was thought to be a couple months ago.
Yeah, we'll get that. Clemson, coming to town. Clemson will be here in Columbia a week from Saturday, and we'll certainly get your take on that. Be interesting. You want to take an early guess? Clemson here at South Carolina. The news coming out, Justin Ross will be out for Clemson now for the next 2 weeks. You want to just take a stab early on at what you think that point spread will be?
Well, it'll depend on Clemson's result at Wake Forest to some extent. But let's say Clemson wins or loses by 3 either way to Wake Forest, which I think it'll be a close game. I think Clemson will be in the 7 to 10 range, kind of depending on what South Carolina does this weekend as well.
Real quick, just tonight, you can check out Brian's work, vegasinsider.com. They do have articles on college basketball as well. South Carolina tonight in college basketball, currently, according to Vegas Insider, which has the lines from multiple different sports books in Vegas, is a 2.5-point underdog to Alabama Birmingham. I know it's still early in the season. To be honest with you, I liked Florida State on the road this past weekend against Florida. And the Gators crushed them. I think they had a huge run in the final 9 minutes and ended up winning that one by double digits. And the Seminoles were a 1.5, 2-point favorite going into Gainesville. So I was a little surprised by the performance for Florida State. The picking of college basketball games early in the season is very difficult. I think I also took Oregon, Brian, the other night. They were a 5-point favorite against BYU. And I liked Oregon.
That one didn't go well, Gunner.
No, it was actually a bad night all the way around. I had the Minnesota Wild too against San Jose Sharks. It was a bad night. Let's just call it a bad night. But
better than Stanford plus 9 last week.
Yeah, Patrick, was it last week that you had Stanford plus 9? No, it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Patrick's pick of the week was Stanford plus 9 when they played at Utah.
Yeah, and they lost, I think, 45-7.
52-7.
52-7.
Yeah, we're doing well, Brian. We're doing very well on this program, as you can hear. UAB minus 2.5 tonight against South Carolina in basketball. Do you any feel for that or early season? Just tips, thoughts on early season college basketball gambling?
Well, I would actually probably lean UAB. Now, they haven't really played anybody of note, but they're out to a 3-0 start. They've won them all by 14 points or more. I know it's early, but they're number 56 in Ken Palm. South Carolina's number 86 now. I know Keyshawn Bryant, he's got 2 more games of the suspension, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Andy Kennedy, obviously the former Ole Miss coach, like everybody pretty much this year, raided the portal to get about a half dozen players, several of them from the SEC. He got Jamal Johnson from Auburn. He got KJ Buffin from Ole Miss, Josh LeBlanc from LSU. So like so many teams, a lot of new parts and, developing chemistry, et cetera. If I had one thing to say early, it would be look to fade Georgia. They are going to be the worst team in the SEC by far. Tom Crean lost all his best players to the portal or graduation, and they weren't any good to begin with last year. And he came up. He got some guys out of the portal, but not a lot of. He got one guy from Gonzaga who rode bench for them. But Georgia's really bad. I'd look to fade them. I was impressed with Seton Hall the other night. Big win at Michigan, but Michigan's still going to be, a top 10 team in my mind. And obviously how you just mentioned, that BYU team caught my eye the other night. So I'll be keeping a close eye on them for sure.
Do you put in futures for college basketball or just futures in general?
Oh, yeah.
What's your mindset for that? Do you like to put them in before the season, or do you like to wait a week or so and see what the teams look like and then do it?
Yeah, because I'm so dialed into football, I don't get, a lot of pre-season preparation. So I like to catch up on hoops, during Thanksgiving week and kind of get a feel for it. And I usually make some future bets in January. I had one on Michigan at 60-1 like 4 years ago when they made it all the way to the finals against Villanova. But close, but no cigar.
Do you do it the same way for pro sports, or it just feels like college basketball is one of those sports where it's so hard to keep up with and you have no idea what every team's going to look like? Are you more inclined to just go ahead and do it preseason?
Well, because you got 358 teams in college, so I kind of move slow on college. But I'm firing away with picks on NBA pretty much every night. I only have one last night. I hit the Hawks. But I'm firing away on NBA already, but I'm kind of slow moving on college right now. I've only entered 5 picks and went 2 and 3.
You can check out his work at vegasinsider.com, where he's the senior handicapper. You can also go to majorwager.com. He is Brian Edwards, who joins us each and every week. Let's get back into the football aspect of it here for a few minutes. A couple that you really like for this coming weekend. Missouri, a team South Carolina just saw, your Florida Gators, who are right now struggling defensively. They go to Missouri this weekend. It's going to be chilly out there. You like Missouri plus the points and even a little bit on the money line potentially.
Yeah, I think Missouri is going to win outright. Florida's defense has just been deplorable the last month. They give up 49, 34, 40, and 52 in the last 4 games. They had never given up 42 points in a half of football ever in the history of Gator football. They gave up 42 points to a 4-5 FCS team last week. Obviously, the team has not shown effort and a willingness to compete to give their coach some job security. And LSU's 13th in the SEC in rushing yards, gashed Florida for more than 300 on the ground. South Carolina's 11th in the SEC in rushing yards, went for 280 and change on the ground. And now here comes Tyler Beatty, the SEC's leading rusher, 1,239 rushing yards, 12 rushing TDs, 6.2 yards per carry. You guys saw what he's all about last week. I like Missouri plus the 9, and like them on the money line as well for a smaller amount, obviously, for money management purposes, but should be able to get Mizzou around plus 260, maybe even a tad bit better than that on the money line.
Your favorite play of the week that you sent me, Boston College is at home. That line has moved down a little bit, -1.5, -2 in some places. Is hosting Florida State. I'll admit, I loved Miami last week on the road at Florida State. Miami was up 8 with 9 minutes to go and gags the game away there, giving up 11 points to Florida State in the final 9 minutes. But Florida State back on the road this week, and you like Boston College -1.5, -2.
Yeah, I loved Miami last week too. What a choke job. That 4th and 14 and not down in that punt. They had like 5 chances to win that game. But we move on. This is the ultimate sandwich spot for the Noles. Off a huge, the home finale, big crowd, emotional comeback win against arch rival Miami, and then the other arch rival, the more bitter rival, Florida on deck in what now seems a game that's winnable for FSU, and now they got to go up in the cold weather. Now, granted, the noon Eastern kick helps FSU in terms of the temperature, but Boston College has got its mojo back. Star quarterback Phil Dracovic, who went down on the second possession in week 2, thought to be out for the season, came back 2 weeks ago, was a little rusty against Virginia Tech, but really, really got it going last week as they beat Georgia Tech in Atlanta by double digits. And he played terrific. He completed 13 of 20 passes, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He also ran it for 71 yards and 3 touchdowns on just 8 attempts. So Boston College has got its swagger back with their stud quarterback Dracovic back in the lineup, and they're 3-1 both straight up and against the spread at home. And with Dracovic, they're 4-0 straight up and 3-1 against the spread, the non-cover being the game he'd left in the first quarter. So I like BC. If you can get it -125 on the money line, that'd be great, but I think you're fine as long as it's 3 or fewer, and like you said, it should be 1.5 or 2 right now.
Hey, I wanted to ask you about just when to decide not to even put a line on a game, because I always have fun betting just enormous numbers. Like last week I had Alabama -51.5, and that was electric. But Georgia's playing Charleston Southern, and you can't find a number. I can't find a number on that anywhere. What makes you decide to just completely stay away? Like, does that mean it would be like a 70-point spread?
I normally don't like to lay anything more than really 17. I mean, I'll occasionally lay 21 or 24 maybe, but I don't like if the line is north of 24. I'm going to stay away unless I love the underdog. Now, all these SEC teams that are playing FCS teams this weekend, there will be lines on those games, but they won't come out until tonight or by lunch tomorrow afternoon. And not all books will offer those, but a lot of books will put the FCS games against FBS out on either Thursday night or early Friday.
Let's fire through a couple games here with Brian Edwards, VegasInsider.com, where he's the senior handicapper. Again, check out his work on MajorWager.com. You've got Friday night, Houston -8.5 against Memphis is a game you like. You also like a Friday night game, Nevada -1 versus Air Force. Why do you like those two?
Yeah, Nevada's won 9 consecutive home games, 6 of them by double-digit margins, all of them by 3 or more, laying 1 at home to Air Force. Wolfpack 5-0 straight up, 3-2 against the spread at home this year, but the non-covers were all as a double-digit favorite. They're in bounce-back mode. They lost 23-21 at San Diego State last week, but they did not have their tight end Cole Turner, who has 55 catches, 618 yards, and 8 touchdowns, and he will be back this week. Carson Strong, Nevada's QB, 3,547 passing yards, 28-7 TDI/INT ratio. He's got a lot of NFL eyes on him, and there will be scouts galore checking him out in a Friday televised game. So I like the Wolfpack there. As for Memphis and Houston, Houston has won 9 games in a row, 6 of them by double-digit margins, and Memphis is 1-3 straight up, 0-4 against the spread on the road this year. And since they started 3-0, the Tigers have limped to a 2-5 record, both straight up and against the spread. So I like the Cougars laying 8.5 or 8, maybe.
So some games on Saturday early on. These are ones that, according to you lean to, but you don't feel great about. I think you'd move them down a little bit. Michigan State, they're catching a bunch of points, 19 at Ohio State, and then early game again, Wake Forest right now plus about 4.5 at Clemson. Those are 2 big games. Certainly the Michigan State game first. You like the points there, plus 19.
Yeah, I do, and I haven't pulled the trigger on it because I'm concerned about a lot of injuries that Michigan State has. Jalen Naylor, their star wide receiver, He did not play the last 2 games, and Mel Tucker is kind of, Mike Leach-esque. He just doesn't discuss injuries ever, so I don't think we're going to even know until, we've got beat reporters on Twitter, tweeting that they're warming up or whatever. But, if he plays, they got 2 starting O-linemen that might not play. If I find out through the beat writers on Twitter, before kick, that some of those guys are playing, maybe I will take Michigan State. In my contest where I had to pick 25 games, I did pick Michigan State. But they're terrible in pass defense, and C.J. Stroud is rolling right now. But I also think Kenneth Walker is going to be able to get a lot of yards and hang around to them. So as for Wake Forest, I know Wake Forest's defense is deplorable, but Clemson's offense is equally as inept. And I know Wake Forest is going to score a lot of points. I mean, I know Clemson's probably the best defense they've faced, but Wake is going to score a lot. I think Wake probably wins that game. I may have a touch on the money line and may have a little bit of them +4, 4.5. But those would be small plays.
Saturday night, when you see a line like this, Patrick and I have talked about this. Utah is favored at home. They are ranked in the college football playoff ranking 24th, but Oregon is number 3. Oregon goes on the road. They're a 3-point underdog. Is that one of those I was watching yesterday, College Football Live? Desmond Howard's talking about he likes Oregon, but when Vegas has the other team as the favorite, he feels like Vegas knows something he doesn't. Where do you stand on Oregon, Utah, late or 7:30?
Because you go into it and you're like, this could be a trap game for Oregon, but then they're an underdog, and you're telling yourself,
Right.
well, how can it be a trap when they're an underdog? It doesn't make any sense.
What's your thoughts there?
Well, I think Utah should be favored. They are at home. They're playing extremely well. I mean, Oregon played pretty good last week. I was pretty happy that I got a backdoor push there with Washington State in the final minute. Although I think it was a tie game at halftime. I mean, they were ahead of the number most of the way. But as I'm getting to Utah's page here, I mean, yeah, they have won their last 3 games. They beat UCLA by 20. They went to Stanford and won 52-7 on the farm. Beat Arizona by 9 last week. Outside of that loss at Oregon State, they had beaten Arizona State by 14, beat USC by 16, beat Washington State by 11. They had a couple of road slip-ups against quality teams at San Diego State and at BYU in September, but ever since they've gone to Cameron Rising at quarterback, they are playing terrific. I mean, look at their offensive numbers the last, 6 weeks. They've scored 42, 35, 34, 44, 52, and 38. So I lean Utah in this game. Now, if it's 3.5, it probably won't make the cut, but I did already pick Utah in my contest.
Last one, and we'll get you out of here. You can start it in. You got other radio shows to be on, but tonight, NFL game, Patriots and Falcons. You have an opinion on this one?
Yeah, I like New England regardless. They're on a roll. They've won 4 in a row, both straight up and against the spread. They've won 5 of the last 6. The only loss was to Dallas in overtime. The Falcons, if with Calvin Ridley out, if Cordarrelle Patterson can't play, and he's going to be a game time decision, Hayden Hurst, the other tight end besides Pitt, is also out. Belichick is he called Kyle Pitts a superstar this week. He's going to take, from a scheme standpoint, he's going to take Kyle Pitts away from Matt Ryan, whether it's, with 2 guys on him, 3 guys on him, whatever it takes. And if Patterson can't play, I love the Patriots. And again, I like them anyway, but if Patterson's unable to play, I think it could be a blowout.
Hey, while we're on the NFL, one last one. I would say the marquee game of the weekend is Dallas and Kansas City. What do you think about that? Is Kansas City back? They get their mojo back last week?
That they did look like they played well against Vegas. Now I think Dallas is stiffer competition. I don't really like this game right now. A little worried KC's got its mojo back, but I think Dallas is the better team overall this season. But they're on the road, so it's a tough game to call. I don't know that I'll even get involved.
He is Brian Edwards. Make sure you make part of your Saturday morning reading, whether it is VegasInsider.com or MajorWager.com. Make sure you check out his work. We appreciate you. And maybe next Wednesday. Does that work for you? I will text you later.
Yeah, Yeah, that'll work, gentlemen. Y'all have a great weekend, and thanks for having me.
You too, Brian. Take
right.
care. Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com. You can check out his work, MajorWager.com as well. You can follow them, by the way, on Twitter at VegasInsider.com, or excuse me, it's at Major Wager Uno, UNO, at Major Wager Uno, UNO. You can follow Brian on Twitter at Vegas B Edwards is the way to do that. We'll have that up on the podcast page shortly. If you missed any of his picks and you need them for the weekend, we certainly do that. Jen does a fantastic job. She'll have that up after about 9 a.m. this morning. So if you're just tuning in, you missed the Brian Edwards segment, don't worry. Jen's got you taken care of. We continue on. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Dan Patrick, weekdays 9 until noon on 107.5 The Game.
Hopefully we are all healthy for next week. The weather has not affected us because if you're like me, waking up to 45-degree weather, it was actually 54 this morning, but then going home to 80-degree weather, it can mess with you a little bit, and it will definitely mess with your heating and air unit. There's nothing like having the heat on in the morning and the air conditioner on in the afternoon. It's a lot of stress you can put on your heating and air unit. Get the professionals out to make sure it's working fine. Sooner or later, it's not going to be working fine, but you better be prepared. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. $59 is all it'll take for a simple just inspection to make sure that that thing will get you through the winter and into the summer with AAA Heating and Air. If something's wrong, though, they're going to make sure that you're taken care of. The first thing they do will offer you a $1,500 buyback of your old unit to get that thing out of there. Then they're going to work with you. For those who qualify, no money down, 0% financing to get a brand new unit. And on top of all that, the best part is a 15-year parts and labor warranty guaranteeing that AAA Heating and Air is there to make sure that heating and air unit continues working. Roy and Dana Finley definitely treat you like a family member of theirs. They want to make sure that you have a great Thanksgiving, that you have a wonderful Christmas by making sure that heating and air unit is working. So give them a phone call today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you, 803-677-1500. Make sure you mention, yeah, I heard that little short guy on the radio talking about the heating and air unit. Thank you to Bill Gunner for reminding me to call you. You tell them that when you call. That way they know that I said it. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Get them out to inspect your heating and air unit. Just $59. That's all it's going to cost you. 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Got your picks now ready for the week? In the bets in?
We're going to have to probably, if it's, what do we have? 3 weeks left of picks, right? We're going to have to make sure there's lots of different picks because now there's a gap.
I have to make, I'm look, I'm doing this right now.
I'm up by like 8 points, right? Yeah, 22-14. So, I mean, I'm in a position to sandbag right now. So we need to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, what we have to do, since I'm behind, I pick second.
Okay.
But that way you can't just say like, oh, I'm just going to,
Yeah.
I'm behind. I pick second in all games right now. That way, if I want to take a game that you've already taken, I can do it. Or I can go against you and try and get the point.
Big swings are really going to be, I just got to keep hitting the locks. Got to keep hitting the locks.
That's why we got.
How many weeks has it been so far? I've missed one lock. Every over under I've gotten right. 5 weeks. So I'm 4-1 on locks.
And I need to text Brian. And right now we look good for going down there at like basketball games at 2. So get down there about noon. See the opens that. Otherwise we'll have to do something like
I won't be here.
Or worst cases before you go, we do it in the afternoon after the basketball game. I think If you'll open at 12, the
Oh,
best
yeah,
case is
yeah.
do it before the game. That way people can kind of go tailgate and head over to the game that's there. But worst case is they'll definitely be open after the game.
I mean, we could do it during the game.
I'm gonna go to the game.
Oh, you're going. Okay. Let's see what time I work. I think we're doing. I think we work at like 5:30 on Sundays.
Yeah.
But that's that we don't know. We're not 100% sure yet. But that was the guess. So it'd probably be like 5:30.
One of them opens. Preferably the 5 points limit. Chuck says, did LSU offer Lincoln Riley 7-year contract for $96 million? That doesn't. That. Oh, now you're making me do math. What is that? Is that $12 million a year?
8 years, 96 million is what I was texted yesterday morning.
Like Matt, this guy Matt. That was kind of funny because then I started paying attention. He said, "Are y'all talking to Brian Edwards or Patrick Mahomes?" I was like, yeah.
A little gravelly.
All right. Did you ask if you were single too? Oh, I normally take them with me, which means I'll read it tomorrow.
Gotta crack some eggs and make an omelet. There's no friend zone.
$4 o'clock today is when the 107.5 The Game Sweet Bids auction ends. So you've got time to go peruse the stuff there. There's a sectional, an ottoman, a sitting chair from Daniel's Fine Furniture. It's valued at $1,600. I have not looked to see. Patrick, do you still have that up in front of you? You were going through all that earlier, but
Yeah,
you
I
got
went through
wrapped up on
everything.
the trips.
I went through everything.
You got wrapped up. You can see. There's a Gamecock printer first. Yep, that you can bid
The
on.
offer
and win.
still stands. If anyone wants to sponsor my authentic Alaska to Vancouver to Sitka 12-day luxury cruise for 2, airfare included.
Yeah,
I will take pictures.
Yeah, Patrick is.
Yeah, I'll do anything. I'll wear a T-shirt with your face on it in Alaska.
Yeah, Patrick would like to go on that. He just doesn't have the money, so he's asking that would you please buy it for him. He feels he's been very good this year, and he is owed a nice Christmas present. You can go purchase that for Patrick. You just got to go to 1075thegame.com to bid. The auction ends at 4 p.m. today. You can go to 107.5 The Game again. I got to admit, my living room is a little dark. It's just how the way the sun comes in and everything. And so the couch I have right now is dark. And so I feel like if I got a lighter shade of a couch,
It might brighten things up.
it might
Mhm.
brighten things out. And the sectional that I have learned to say properly after Tuesday's
I heard about
episode.
that.
Yeah. The bids went up. It was crazy. People got confused. the sectional and ottoman and sitting chair, I think might brighten, because there's 2 of them you can actually bid on. And I think that it might actually brighten up the living room just a tad. And so I will admit that I'm kind of monitoring that one very, very closely, because the last I saw, it was a great deal. You could certainly get a great deal on it. It's a $1,600 value. It was about $500 last time I saw it. Go to 1075thegame.com and you can bid on the Sweet Bids auction. Ends at 4:00 today. So get that in. South Carolina women last night, 76-45 victory over Clemson. That is number 11 in a row for South Carolina. Destiny Henderson with 16 points last night to lead the way for the Gamecocks. Tonight, Alabama Birmingham versus South Carolina over at Colonial Life Arena. I'll head over and attend that. Patrick, another quality program. We make picks tomorrow, and you're dominating me in it, as you were talking about on the,
Keep it up, Patrick.
the live stream.
I love that.
I'm sorry. Do we have the
That's
NASCAR
funny.
picks points over there? There's nothing behind you. Stop looking back there. Everybody have a great, great Thursday. It's going to warm up out there. We will do it all again tomorrow. Thank you for everybody on the live stream and for the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. We'll talk to you tomorrow. It's been the early game. 107.5 The Game.
That's all, folks. 1 week from Thanksgiving.